Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. So Alhamdulillah, we are back with ATH 435 Art and Design History and Theory. So how are you? I hope you are in the best of health, ready to continue with our online or distant learning procedures. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the life of millions of people around the world, including our beloved nation, Malaysia. And now we are under the PKP enforcement. Till when? Don't ask me. I don't know when this PKP will end. Maybe after the Hari Raya. Still, life has to go on. So let's talk about ATH 435. According to the new academic calendar, we are now in week 4. 3 weeks gone during the PKP are not considered as not considered in the academic calendar. But still, we have the 14 week for every course. Anyway, before the PKP, I've handed down to you the full set of notes from lecture number 1 to number 7. If you haven't got it by now, so get a copy of it from your friend. When I left you during our last meeting, our last lecture, we have done half of lecture number 5. So lecture number 5 mainly concerned with the Baroque 17th century and the Rococo 18th century. Baroque artists like Rembrandt and Caravaggio are well known for the dramatic light effect, which we call chiaroscuro. Baroque artists also showed dramatic episode of David to the sculpture by Bernini. As we move on to the 19th century, five important art movements are the hallmark of the time: Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism and Impressionism, also Post-Impressionism. For all these art movements, concentrate on the formal and theoretical aspects of the artworks. Theoretical means the concept or the idea, or rather the narrative, or you can call it the iconography of the artwork. And now what are you supposed to do? Study all the lecture notes, be familiar with the picture of the artwork. The idea is by looking at an artwork, you are able to identify the historical, the theory, the style to which it belongs. To put it short, an appreciation of form and content, or an appreciation of formal and theoretical aspect of the artwork. Now it is time to brief you on the test and exam. First of all, there's no conventional exam. Everything will be online. Okay? By week 8, Encik Radin will conduct online tests for the design part. Remember, lecture number 1 to number 7, they are all on art history. The rest are design lectures. Your first online exam will happen sometimes in week 8 or week 10. Encik Radin will inform you later on. The test will be 40%. So the 60% will come from my part. That will be in week 11 to week 12. It will happen sometimes in June. I'll brief you later on. I'll brief you on the 60% test in the next video. So for now, for my part, study all the lecture notes, especially lecture number 7 and number 6 and number 7 for the next week's discussion. I think that's all for now. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for us. Keep ourselves, our beloved family and country in the best of health. Stay home, stay safe, have hope in Allah SWT. May Allah Ta'ala bless you all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera. So first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Mohamad Khalil Amran. I was born in 1961 in Batu Pahat, Johor. My degree is in fine art and later on pursue my master degree in art history and theory. So I joined UITM. That time was called I joined UITM. That time was called ITM in 1989. So it almost now is more than 30 years by now. Okay. So anyway, we'd like to welcome you to the Faculty of Art and Design. Congratulations, you have made the correct choice. So we are the first and the leading art and design institution in the country. Okay. So the faculty building, especially in Puncak Alam, especially designed for the graphic, printing, photography, and visual culture programs. It's a stunning building. It has a very beautiful environment. The landscape, you have the lake and you have the park area, and everything is so peaceful, So don't worry, after the PKP, after the PKP period has ended, then you can come and enjoy this beautiful ambience environment. Now come to our core business, ATH 435, art and design, history and theory. So all semester 01 students have to enroll, have to register for this course. For those, from the 3+2, or for those who have done diploma in art design, they'll get a PC, pengejualan credit, for this course, So other than that, we are from STPM, we have to register for this subject and join this what we call WhatsApp group, and you have to be attentive to my posting from time to time. This is a core subject, So 2 credit hours. The passing mark is 50. So I posted the lecture note from lecture number 1 to number 7. So what you're gonna do, you have to print it out into a hard copy version, like a book, So every time you listen to my video, you can always refer to these hard copy notes. Okay. So this video will not be explaining like each and every slide from the lecture notes, But what you have to do, you have to study the notes carefully, prepare before listening to my video from time to time. For example, for next week, study lecture number 2 and number 3 before listening to the next video. So we are discussing about visual art as opposed to performing arts. So in performing arts, you have drama, theatre, film, and whatnot. But we are dealing with visual art, painting, sculpture, printmaking, and etc. Okay. So every work of art is it has got an expression, not like handicraft, or in Malay we call it kraftangan. For the kraftangan upon a handicraft, it doesn't have the sense of expression. So for work of art, whether it's real or abstract, it's an expression of feeling, So it has the form and content. So we have to refer to the notes. For further explanation. So the purpose or the object of this course is for so that you'll be able to conduct an appreciation of form, the form, what's in front of you, the color, the shape, texture, and so on, and so the content, the subject matter, and also the iconography, the story behind the artwork, guided through a theoretical framework. That's why it's called art, history, and theory. So when looking at the work of art, we have to locate the historical, the historical factors, and also the stylistic, appreciation of the artwork. So the style of the artwork will change from time to time, So by looking at an artwork, you'll be able to know the style, So every period will come up with different style in art and design. So ATH 435 has 2 important areas, the art and also the design. So for the first 8 lectures, we will be discussing the area of art. That will be under my under my lectures. So you have lecture number 1, and after week 9, then you'll be having lecture on design areas. Okay. Now we go to the assessment atau penilaian. Okay. There will be a 40% test that will happen in week 9 or week 10, something like that, followed by a 60% test that will happen in week 14. Okay? So we'll brief you from time to time on this. So please be attentive to my posting and also my instruction in the WhatsApp group. Okay. So altogether there will be 7 lectures on art and the rest will be on design. All these lectures cover topics from the prehistoric, pre-modern, modern, post-modern and contemporary art and design. So I hope you can cope with the open distance learning mode. Okay. So because we are now under the PKP period, so we have to observe this ODL. Okay. Open distance learning mode. Okay. So we plan actually to have a face-to-face lecture at least once with you, but we are not able to do that. So we're not possible to do that. So everything will be ODL, open distance learning. So any inquiry, you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me. Whether to WhatsApp, video call, telephone, email, and so on. Okay. Lastly, about the attendance. Sign in atau mengenai daftar kedatangan. You sign in by posting, write your name, then hadir situ. So make sure you put your full name. For example, your name is Ahmad bin Ali, titik bertindih, hadir. Then put a mark there. Okay. So for graphic, you have to sign in within the learning hours. You have to follow the timetable. For example, for graphic, AD241 is from 8 to 10 on Wednesday. Okay. For visual culture, AD232 from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And printing technology, AD230 from 8 to 10 in the morning on Thursday. Okay. So post your attendance post your attendance in the learning hours. Okay. For example, if you post later than that, you'll be considered as absent from class. Except you have a valid reason to be considered. Okay. Okay. Lastly, again, I congratulate you because you are now part of this faculty. I mean, you are part of the creative and knowledgeable artist and designer. So study hard, but you have to study smart. Okay. Work hard, work smart. Always attentive to my instruction and posting. Take care, observe the PKP SOP. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, this is the second video for ATH 435. So this is the second video since the semester starts last week. So hopefully you have listened to the last video, and as explained in last week's video, everybody should sign in every week within the learning hours in accordance with the given timetable. For example, for graphic, AD241 is on Wednesday, 8 to 10 in the morning, and for visual culture, 232, and printing, AD230 is at 2 to 4 p.m. in the afternoons, same day on Wednesday. And most importantly, make sure you have your hard copy with you, hard copy notes with you while listening to this video. So last week we looked into work of Baroque art in the 17th century. We have discussed about the Baroque art, which is more on dramatic effect of light, chiaroscuro, work by Rembrandt and Caravaggio. So for today we'll start with Rococo, the 18th century. So Rococo is 100% different from Baroque in the case that Rococo mainly a depiction of the aristocratic leisure and outing, the outing of the aristocratic. This can be seen through the work of Jean Honoré Fragonard entitled The Swing, 1766. Also in the painting by John Antoine Watteau, Embarkment to the Island of Cythera, 1721. So when we move to 19th century, our studies include studies on movement called Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism, Impressionism, and lastly Post-Impressionism. So a good example of Neoclassicism is the work by Jacques Louis David in 1874 called the Odes of Horace, in which the subject matter and the narrative are from Roman origin. So the movement Romanticism was a movement between 1800 to 1850, focusing on the supremacy of the forces of nature or the authority over human being. The weak human being is being oppressed or under the supremacy of the forces of nature or the authority. So artists like Francisco Goya, to a painting called The 3rd of May 1808, posed a romantic scene where the victim of oppression of Napoleon army in Madrid. It shows the defender of Madrid executed or being killed by the firing squad of Napoleon. The movement realism from 1850 to 1880 rather tries to capture the essence of the low class and the low and the middle class society. This can be seen through the work of Honoré Daumier, the third class carriage, where the poor and needy could only afford the third class. Impressionism from 1870 to 1888 is completely different, has a completely different style. The inclination of the Impressionism was towards capturing the light and its changing effect and the visible brush strokes. A good example of Impressionist work is by Claude Monet, the painting called Impression Sunrise in 1872. He recorded his impression of sunrise while with a spontaneous visible brushstrokes, fast, sketchy, and everything is so spontaneous. Actually, the term Impressionism was coined by an art critic called Louis Leroy. So after Impressionism, you have Post-Impressionism, which mark a transition between 19th century to 20th century. So more interesting artwork and artists came into picture, like the famous Van Gogh, Cezanne and George Seurat. So these artists, they don't share any similar technique or subject matter, but rather they are unique on their own. So more expressive brushstroke can be seen in the work of Van Gogh, like Starry Night 1889, done even before he committed suicide, The Night Cafe 1888, and The Sunflower 1888. So Van Gogh's work has influenced many 20th century artists, especially the German expressionists and Fauvism. So moving to the 20th century, exploration of expressive brushstroke can be traced in the work of Fauvism and Expressionism. So Fauvism prefers to explore color as emotional force, and the German expressionists tried to express their inner feelings and social critique through distortion of form and expressive brushstrokes. So in Paris we have Cubism, and in Italy we have Futurism. So Cubism is different from Futurism in terms that the painting of Cubism, they are dull and somber. I mean, it's fragmentation of form, but they are dull and somber. But Futurists, they were fascinated with speed, violence and technology, shown in a vibrant color scheme. So Cubism, prominent artists like Picasso and Braque introduced what we call analytical Cubism and later synthetic Cubism. In synthetic Cubism, we have the collage technique, which was introduced after 1912. So one of the important events was in the early 20th century was the First World War and the Second World War. So Dadaism existed during the First World War. It was an art movement established in Zurich, Switzerland. So it was an anti-art movement started in Zurich. So artists like Tristan Tzara, Kurt Schwitter and Marcel Duchamp proposed an anti-art, an art of nihilism. Life has got no meaning, no purpose and so on. They were frustrated with the war. So most striking are the ready-made objects by Duchamp, like the porcelain urinal, which he called Fountain in 1917, and it was rejected from the Armory Show in New York in 1917. So ready-made objects are challenged on the definition of arts. To put simply, art as ideas. Then the art scene moved to New York. The New York scene was very much explosive when confronted with the true action painting by Jackson Pollock. So Pollock put the canvas on the floor, moved around all over the canvas, splashing and dripping paint expressively, instinctively, randomly, haphazardly. His painting called Painting Number 5 is one of the most expressive expensive contemporary painting. It was over 150 million US dollar. So lastly we have pop art, is based on popular culture. So pop art emerged right after abstract expressionism. The subject matter of pop art are movies, comic strip and popular culture. The most famous work by Andy Warhol called Turquoise Marilyn in 1962 is a good example. So that's about all for now for lecture number 6 on modern art. Inshallah next week in the third video we are going to the postmodern and Malaysian art. So for now, read and study all your notes, especially for lecture number 7. Any inquiry, you just WhatsApp me, and please stay in touch. Stay safe, stay home, have faith in Allah SWT. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, it's almost a week now in Ramadan. So for this reason I would like to wish all students Salam Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Al Mubarakah. So one thing for sure, that we have gone through the first and second PKP period, and now we are in the third phase of the PKP. And with the coming of Ramadan again, I would like to congratulate all students for your steadfastness, stamina and commitment for knowledge. So I really hope that all students of AD 241 Graphic, 232 Visual Culture, 230 Printing Technology, 247 Photography and 233 Digital Design will always sign in your attendance while listening to this recording. This will act as an evidence of your response and academic commitment in receiving or absorbing the lesson consistently. Of course, you can listen to this recording at your own sweet and free time, but in terms of attendance, please sign in during the learning hours. And also please refer to your notes while listening to these recordings. In the last video recording, we have discussed about the 20th century art. To recap the lecture, firstly you should understand the general characteristic of modern art, which are the opposites of the classical art. So to summarize the concept of 20th century art movements is as follows: Fauvism, color as emotional force; Expressionism, expression of the inner feeling and social protest; Cubism, fragmentation of form; Futurism, adoration of speed, violence and technology; Surrealism, pure psychic and subconscious world; Abstract expressionism, action painting and formalism; Dadaism, anti-art and nihilism; and pop art, art of the popular culture. So moving on to lecture number 7, lecture on postmodernism and lastly modern Malaysian art. So postmodern era came after the modern art around 1950, and some scholars said after the 70s, so in between 50s to 70s onwards. But the origin of postmodernism was in the work of Dadaism, especially the work of Master Duchamp in early 20th century. The first ready-made was made in 1913. It's called the bicycle wheel. The ready-made object challenged the definition of art, the playfulness of style, art as ideas, and creating art from things which are not work of art. Things does not go to the artistic process and the creative process of producing of an artwork. For definition, theory and concept of postmodernism, please refer to your notes. An architect, Franco Lyotard, defines postmodernism as fragmentation of narrative. So the narrative or the story or the content in the work of art is always not clear, without a focal point or center nor focus. Sometimes it's an overloading kind of information at one time. Basically, there are two types of postmodernism: the constructive postmodernism and the deconstructive postmodernism. Constructive postmodernism is sometimes called the New Age thinking, thinking which claim to offer a new unity of scientific, ethical, aesthetic and religious intuition, a desire to return to a pre-modern notion of cosmic meaning and enchanted nature. While the deconstructive postmodernism rejects God, self, purpose in life, meaning and truth. A nihilistic point of view, all values are baseless, and no hierarchy, no central narrative or grand narrative in a work of art. So most interesting example of postmodern painting is in the work of Jean-Michel Basquiat. He is sometimes labeled as the post-colonial, neo-expressionist and of course postmodernist. Through his work, his mixed media works, mostly titled as Untitled, he presented a fragmented self in the search of an organizing principle. We can see in his work, there's no focus, no central issue, fragmentation of narrative and no hierarchy. This can be seen through the work called Untitled 1983 and Untitled 1984. So please refer to your notes. As a conclusion, the postmodernism can be best represented by the work of Basquiat. Other important movements of the late 20th century includes neo-expressionism, happening, video art, digital art and graffiti art. So now we move to the final part of lecture number 7. We are now discussing the modern Malaysian art. So going back to history, modern Malaysian art started in Penang during 1930s by a group of watercolorists like Yong Man Sen and Abdullah Arif. In Penang, they have several art societies like the Penang Impressionists, Penang Chinese Art Club and the Penang Art Teacher Council. Basically, the watercolor are a blend of Chinese and English watercolorists. Then the Nanyang Academy of Fine Art existed in Singapore. The work called Tropical Life in 1959 by Cheong Su Pieng is a good example of Nanyang style, a mixture of Parisian with traces of brushstroke depicting Malaysian lifestyle. The father of modern Malaysian art is of course Syed Ahmad Jamal. Started with a group called the Wednesday Art Group. Just before the independence, Jamal set forth the momentum of independence with abstract expressionism that he and his fellow artists believed to be the mode of expression for modern Malaysian art. Through Jamal's work like Debate 1959 and Harapan 1962, both are all painting, Jamal displayed great energy and spontaneity in line with the spirit of Merdeka. The color, the brushstroke and the abstraction of form also prevail in the works of Latif Mohidin, work of Yeo Jin Ling and Cheong Lai Tong, and many others. Latif painting entitled Pago Pago 1964, Malaysia Merdeka 62 by Cheong Lai Tong, and Rice Field 1963 by Yeo Jin Ling. These are examples of the abstract expressionism in Malaysia. The later generation, the contemporary artists who are very much attached to abstract expressionism includes Yusuf Ghani and Suzili Ibrahim. So that's all for lecture number 7, our final lecture for ATH 435. For any inquiry on lecture number 1 to number 7, please contact me. It's just a WhatsApp away. In the next posting, I'll inshallah brief you on your 40% and 60% test. Thank you for listening and sharing this session. Stay safe, stay home, have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah ta'ala make it easy for us. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, we are back with ATH 435, Art and Design History and Theory. As usual, before listening to this recording, please refer to your notes. I've told you to print it into hard copy version for easy reference while listening to this video. Firstly, our discussion will be on prehistoric art. In Malay, it's called Seni Prasejarah. Prehistoric is a term used to denote the period before writing, sebelum datangnya tulisan, before having documentation. It is divided into 3 main periods: Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. Paleolithic is Old Stone Age, 36,000 to 8,000 before Christ, BC. And the Mesolithic, the Middle Stone Age, which is 8,000 to 3,500 before Christ, BC. And Neolithic period, the New Stone Age, between 8,000 to 1,500 BC, before Christ. The two main artworks of the prehistoric art in the early period, in the Paleolithic and Mesolithic, are the cave paintings and fertility goddess. Cave painting and also the 3D sculpture. Images of big-sized hunting animals such as bison, deer, horses are depicted in whether in singular image or in groups. If you refer to the notes, the example of the painting is called, the depiction of the hunting animal in groups called the Halls of Bulls, from Lascaux, from France, 1,500, 15,000 to 10,000 before Christ. Okay? So the purpose of this cave painting very much questioned by the historian and also anthropologists. Some scholars believe that it is a way to practice hunting magic, to make sure the hunting will be successful, and the animal will come to the cave. While others say this is to transmit information through the painting. Also, some scholars believe it is for ritual purpose. But the widely accepted theory is that by David Louis William. So he believed that this painting were made by shaman ataupun tok bomo, tok batin, who has a good drawing and painting skill to communicate to the unseen world. In the next recording, part 2, I will discuss in detail about the painting called the Halls of Bulls. So apart from the painting, 3D sculpture in Malay called arca, iaitu arca bentuk patung manusia of exaggerated human figure. The sexual organ is exaggerated. It's very common in the prehistoric art. For example, the sculpture called Venus of Willendorf. Venus actually is one of the goddess of the Roman goddess. So the term is used to indicate a beautiful woman. Okay. This is a work between 30,000 to 25,000 BC. Then we have Venus of Lespung, and also Venus of Losel, 15,000 to 10,000 BC. This sculpture acts as a symbol of fertility. So in Malay you call kesuburan, and as a symbol of the survival of humanity. Simbol pembiakan manusia, reproduction of human being, and also the survival of the human. That's why some of the what you call sculpture, they have to show a pregnant woman, exaggerated breast, and also showing the what you call in the condition of a pregnant. So during the Neolithic period, and coming to the Neolithic period, man has ventured into the land and made building for ritual and for shelter. This early example of the Neolithic period, Neolithic building, is the Stonehenge in England. That was built 2000 BC. Scholars and anthropologists believe that this was a place where a community lived, made their ritual, and later was buried there in this area. So the technical term for this building is called cromlech, where the post and lintel tiang dan alang. The post and lintel made from big chunk, big block of rock in a formation of circular arena. So this culture of using big block atau big size of rock is called megalithic. Mega means big, lithic means stone. Okay, which can be found in Malaysia as well. If you go to the notes, you can see it is shown the example from Kampung Kemuning, Gadi from Alu Gajah, and also you have the Batu Pedang, Batu Sudu in Pekalang Kempas, and so in the notes you have the example from Bario. So coming to Egyptian art, the second part of the lecture, Egyptian art has developed a system of writing, a picture writing. They call it hieroglyphs. So this is the beginning of documentation. It is not anymore the period called prehistoric. Okay, so the Nile River, Sungai Nil, It's the most important area, both riverbank. They were the early civilization of the Egyptian art. But the Egyptian was like the ancient Egypt was in chaos and disruption, disunited, and it was later on being united by a king called King Nama, or in other books his name as King Menes. So documentation of the unification of the lower and upper Egypt, Utara dan Selatan, is shown through the relief sculpture called the Palette of King Nama, 3100 to 3000 BC. In the next video number 3, I will discuss about this work. Okay, so the Egyptian are predominantly about life after death, seni tentang kematian. That's why they build the pyramid to preserve the king. They mummified the king and put inside the pyramid. The painting, the sculpture, and other work around and in the pyramid are accessories to accompany the king to the next world. Example of the earliest pyramid is the step pyramid of King Zosha, built by an architect named Imhotep. Okay, the new kingdom, the new era of Egyptian art is represented by the sculpture called Queen Nefertiti by the sculptor named Thutmose, 1355 to 1335 BC. Another important artwork is the mask of Tutankhamun, Topeng Keranda Tutankhamun, 1323 BC. Both sculptures have a fine, realistic, soft, curvilinear treatment of form. So later on we'll discuss about Mesopotamian art, but the most distinguishing character of Mesopotamian art, they have a sort of like building like a pyramid, but they call it ziggurat. Okay, so pyramid is for the dead, but ziggurat is for the living. They have their ritual there, and the place they believe that to be the place of the god. So stay with me for the next video, and we have this recording has 3 parts. Okay, this is the first part, and you have the second and third part. Okay, bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. So this is the second part, part 2 of lecture number 2. So in this part we'll discuss about the work that is shown here, the halls of Bul. So alhamdulillah, we have discussed the theory of prehistoric art in the first video. Now we look at the cave painting from Paleolithic period. The work is called this work is called the halls of bulls. So you have 3 types of animal, but the dominant animal there is a bull. So that's why it's called the halls of bulls. Okay. So the dating date is 15,000 to 10,000 before Christ. Okay, this is from Lascaux, from France. So most of the Paleolithic painting were during the study was done. They found all this what you call painting in all over Europe. In Spain, in France, and in Austria and other part of European countries. Okay, so this painting is a good example of a typical characteristic of Paleolithic painting. If somebody asks you what are the general characteristic of Paleolithic painting, so this is an example of a typical characteristic of Paleolithic painting. For example, the usage of bold outline, garisan luar yang kasar digunakan, the bold outline to draw the shape of the animal. And you have the big size hunting animal. Usually for Paleolithic painting, they don't show like a small animal. It's always big hunting animal. For example, in this case, the deer, the horses, and the bulls. Okay, and you have mixed species grouping, because in the real world, the bull, the deer, and the horses, they don't belong in one group. But in this painting, they were shown like in one big group. It's called mixed species grouping. So there's no indication of space. There's no foreground, middle ground, and background. Everything is like floating. tidak ada latar, latar depan belakang tak ada. So another thing is that the usage of color is limited. Penggunaan warna yang terhad. You have the black, ochre and also red. Then the way the images were shown, it is a very naturalistic, not realistic but naturalistic, meaning that looking at the images we know this is a horse, this is a deer, this is a bull, it's recognizable. The painting is painted on walls and ceiling. This is also the characteristic of the paleolithic painting, either on the wall or ceiling of the cave. So the purpose of this kind of painting I have explained to you, because some of the scholars say that this is for ritual, some say this for sympathetic magic, to bring the animal to the cave, and some say this is like a ritual kind of thing. But the most widely accepted theory is that by David Louis Williams, this painting was done by shaman. So the shaman atau Tok Bomo, Tok Batin ni, they know what to do. They know how to communicate with the unseen world. So that's it for the second video. So stay with me for the third part of this lecture. We're gonna discuss about the palette of King Nama in Egyptian art. So bye for now. Rahman Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is part 3 of this lecture number 2. So Alhamdulillah, we are now discussing about the palette of King Nama from Egyptian art. So shown here is a relief sculpture from Egyptian art. It's called the palette of King Nama, 3100 to 3000 BC before Christ. The height of this sculpture is 25 inches. It's made from stone, slate. The kind of stone is slate. This is an utilitarian object, objek kegunaan harian, a palette for preparing eye makeup. Satu palette untuk menyediakan celak, eye makeup. So it is one piece actually, bukannya dua, it's one piece but shown both sides, front and back. Bukan ada dua palette, satu palette, but it's shown, the front and the back parts of the palette. The palette is carved to document the victory of King Nama, uniting ataupun the unification of the Lower and Upper Egypt. As we have explained before, the Upper and Lower Egypt was disunited, and there was a lot of turmoil and chaos. And it was later, the unification was made by King Nama. So he fought all the way through to unite all this, the Upper and Lower Egypt, and then after that the beginning of dynasty. Dynasty 1 until more than 20 or 30 dynasties, until from the old kingdom to the new kingdom. Okay, this sculpture marks the transition from the prehistoric period to the historical period. Before this we call prehistoric because there's no writing, no documentation. But now with this documentation, although it's a writing in the form of picture, you call it hieroglyphs, but it's considered as the beginning of history. So that's why this work of art is very important. Okay, and the way the images of human figure are shown become a formula for the Egyptian to represent figure in later work. So cara menggambar tu, iaitu cara dia lukis di sini, become the formula. Later on, if they want to make human figure, it'll be of the same nature. The work has a lot of symbolic meaning as a way to document the historical event. The symbolic meaning is to document, to tell us the event that has happened. For example, the front view of the Nama palette, King Nama is shown as the tallest and biggest figure, capturing and torturing his enemy. For the back view, Nama again is shown as the tallest figure, leading a victorious procession. perarakan kemenangan, ada orang menjulang panji-panji dan sebagainya. And the intertwining neck of the two animal, for example, symbolize the unification of the upper and lower Egypt. Okay. The rest are explained in your notes actually. So refer to your notes. There's a lot of symbolic meaning or suggestion in this work of art. Okay. So study your notes for next week. Read on Mesopotamian, Asian and Etruscan art. Okay. So be fully ready for the next lesson. Okay. So for now, stay safe. Observe the SOP of the PKPB or PKPD whatsoever. So take care. So I see you in next week inshallah. So take care. Bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 3 for ATH 435, Art and Design History and Theory. As usual, I would like to remind you to have your notes that I posted to you. So I want the note to be printed into hard copy. Jadi saya minta nota-nota yang saya post dekat WhatsApp tu print jadikan hard copy macam buku. So setiap kali saya buat recording ni, you refer pada note tu supaya you boleh faham. So in lecture number 3, we are going to discuss Mesopotamian, Asian and Etruscan art. Mesopotamia means Meso means middle, Tamia means land. So the meaning of this term is land between two rivers, tanah di antara dua sungai. Meso tu pertengahan, Tamia tu tanah, tanah antara dua sungai. The river Euphrates and Tigris, Sungai Furat dan Sungai Dajlah kalau dalam bahasa Arab. The present location now is in Iraq. Tempat tu sekarang ialah di negara Iraq. So the earliest people of Mesopotamia is the Sumerian, then the Akkadian, then came back the New Sumerian, the Assyrian, Babylonian and Hittite from Persian. Jadi tempat ni dia silih berganti tamadunnya. Tamadun asalnya Sumeria, Akkadia, Sumeria Baru, Assyria dan Babylonia. Kemudiannya orang Hittite dari Parsi. The most important artwork is the ziggurat. Ziggurat is like a pyramid in a form of triangular structure. Struktur kesegitigaan yang menghala ke atas. But the pyramid is for the dead, for the dead kings, untuk raja-raja yang telah mati. But ziggurat is for the living. So and for the ziggurat they have the stairs, ada tangga naik ke atas. And on top of the ziggurat there's a temple where the priest ataupun padri-padri mereka akan, atau sami-sami mereka berada di atas sana. Okay. So there are they spotted atau dia menjumpai lebih kurang 32 ziggurat di zaman Mesopotamia. Okay. So if somebody asks you what's the difference between the pyramid and the ziggurat, definitely it's easy. Okay. Pyramid is for the dead king. Okay. But the ziggurat is for the living people in Mesopotamia. They came to the ziggurat and they performed their ritual. Okay. The most famous example of ziggurat is the ziggurat of Ur, 2000 BC, 50 feet height, the Neo Sumerian period. And also we have the White Temple and ziggurat at Uruk, 3200 to 3000 BC. That was in Sumerian period. So if you refer to the notes, you can see the example of ziggurat. Okay. So Mesopotamian sculptures ataupun arca Mesopotamia are stiff, frontal and have features like long beard, big size eyes and jointed eyebrows. Jadi karya-karya arca ataupun seni patung Mesopotamia ni dia kaku, pandangan dari depan, dan dia ada ciri seperti janggut yang panjang simbol kekuasaan, mata yang besar dan juga kening yang bersambung. So good example of this kind of sculpture is the statuettes of worshipper at Tel Asma, 2700 BC. If you refer to the notes, you can find this sculpture. Okay. The sculpture feature, they are in worship. The worshippers are actually performing a ritual, and the tallest figure is called Abu, the god of agriculture. The most astonishing achievement of the Mesopotamian art during the New Babylonian period. That is the Ishtar Gate, gerbang Ishtar, iaitu pencapaian terbaik seni Mesopotamia di zaman Babilonia baru. 575 BC, 575 tahun sebelum Masihi. But I will discuss this work of art in the second video. That is lecture number 3, part 2. Okay, so stay with me with the first, second, and third video after this. Okay. Now we move to Asian art. The location of Asian art is now in Greece, but this area was the area what we call the area of Aegean Sea, Laut Aegean, and the mainland Greece, dan tanah besar Greece. Negaranya sekarang ialah Greece. The Aegean have they actually had a prosperous economy, ekonomi yang maju, and trading center, tempat perniagaan yang baik. So they showed a very prosperous kind of art. They are like happy people with good economic status. Okay, the Aegean have so the example of the Aegean art, the most notable example is a sculpture called the figurine of woman from Syros, 2500 BC to 2300 BC. So this figurine is like the Venus of Willendorf from the Paleolithic era, seperti karya prasejarah tu yang simbol kesuburan. But the concept of fertility, kesuburan di sini ditunjukkan dengan gambar wanita yang begitu kurus. Dalam karya prasejarah tu kita tengok wanita yang agak gemuk badannya, tapi di sini digambarkan wanita yang slim ataupun kurus. So the figure is shown as a slim figure. The only indication of fertility is the swollen belly, like a pregnant woman. Cuma yang kita mengenali konsep kesuburan tu ialah figura ni dia punya perutnya tu agak kembung. So ahli sejarah mengatakan itulah simbol orang yang sedang hamil. So konsep ni dipanggil konsep kesuburan. Okay. So like the Venus sculpture in the prehistoric time, so there is no face detail, and they are small in size. So maksudnya it is not referring to any particular person. It's a universal symbol, tak merujuk kepada orang tertentu. Dia adalah satu simbol yang universal. In Aegean art, mural atau in art historical term kita panggil fresco. Mural atau fresco adalah satu bentuk yang sangat penting. So for example, there's example of fresco called La Parisine, ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil wanita Paris, 1450 to 1400 BC, 1450 hingga 1400 sebelum Masihi. It shows a beautiful and sophisticated lady, dikatakan seperti wanita Paris, sebab tu ahli sejarah manggilnya La Parisine, wanita Paris. The color of the mural is so brilliant. Mural ini ataupun fresco ni dibuat dengan warna yang begitu terang, especially the color on the lips of this La Parisine, iaitu pada warna bibir, gincu bibirnya tu kelihatan begitu terang sekali. Also we have the painting on ceramic. If you refer to the notes, ada painting on ceramic called the warrior vase, iaitu in Aegean art, 1200 BC. It shows a group of army marching to a battlefield, menggambarkan sekumpulan askar dan berbaris, dan dia telah diucap selamat oleh ibunya and greeted by the mother. So now we come to Etruscan art. Etruscan art is the location now is in Italy. So Etruscan is the first people who came to Italy, in the northern part of Italy. Orang Etruscan ni adalah orang asal Itali. They were very good in making sculpture. Mereka ni begitu pandai membuat arca, but the sculpture is not solid. They has been, it's like they're using mold ataupun casting technique. Iaitu mereka pandai menggunakan teknik acuan. So the sculpture is not solid. It has a hollow, it's a kind of hollow. Tengah tu ada kosong. Maksudnya they are using the casting technique. So, and this sculpture, most of the sculpture from ceramic, they put on the roof of their temple. So, for example, is the Apollo from the roof of Postra temple, 410 to 500 BC. This sculpture and many other were part of the roof sculpture of Etruscan temple. Dia merupakan arca-arca yang diletakkan di atas rumah-rumah berhala orang Etruscan. So another interesting ceramic sculpture is the sarcophagus from Cerveteri. Satu arca daripada ceramic, daripada tanah liat, yang mana dia telah buat teknik acuan. This sculpture is a coffin. Dia adalah keranda. Yang mana tutup keranda ni is in the form of a couple. The lid of the sculpture, tudung sculpture ni adalah bentuk satu pasangan suami isteri. They both actually perform what you call a tender smile, dan mereka ni membuat satu senyuman yang begitu indah sekali. Jadi if you refer to the slide, you can see. Okay, so most importantly, yang paling penting is sculpture called Capitoline Wolf, 500 to 480 BC. So this sculpture, actually it has an interesting story behind it. Okay, so this sculpture will be discussed in part 3 of this recording. So stay with me with the second and third video. So bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. This is part 2 of lecture number 3. Okay. So we are now discussing a building called Ishtar Gate. So kita sedang bincangkan satu seni bina, seni Mesopotamia yang dipanggil Ishtar Gate. 575 BC, 575 sebelum Masehi. This architecture is an example of Mesopotamian achievement in ceramic. Inilah satu kejayaan orang Mesopotamia dalam penghasilan ceramic. Not only they created brick, but color and coated them with colored glazing. Bukan hanya dia mencipta batu bata daripada tanah, tapi dia telah buat lapisan, dipanggil glazing, ataupun permukaan yang kilat tu, yang berwarna-warni. Then in this architecture, the rounded arch, ataupun dipanggil relung separuh bulatan, bentuk yang kita kan orang panggil kubah, tapi bukan kubah, tapi relung. Relung separuh bulatan is an innovative structure, because in the prehistoric world they made what we call post dan lintel, tiang dan alang. So lintel can be broken. Tiang tu disebabkan berat daripada atas, dia boleh patah di tengah. But when the Mesopotamian dia created this arch ataupun relung ni bentuk separuh bulatan, maka the structure is stable. Structure tu lebih stabil. So this is considered as an innovative structure. The beautiful color of the brick, warna batu-batu yang menarik tu, are adorned with relief images. Ada pula dihiasi dengan image timbulan, daripada bentuk lembu jantan, singa dan juga naga. Adorned with the images of bulls, what we call lion and also dragon. So this relief sculpture, arca-arca timbulan ni yang berbentuk binatang they also have a variety of colors, like blue, red and also yellow. Okay, so this animal, they are considered as guardian animal, binatang pengawal kota. So this is like a fort, seperti satu kota yang mana mereka mempertahankan daripada serangan musuh. So this gate is an example of a fort, but beautifully decorated. And this building or this architecture is now reconstructed in one of the museum in German in Berlin. So stay with me for the for part number 3, when I will be discussing about the Etruscan sculpture called Capitoline Wolf. So stay with me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye for now. Rahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 3, part 3. Okay, we are now discussing a sculpture called Capitoline Wolf from the Etruscan period, Etruscan art. So 500 to 480 BC. Kita sedang bincangkan sebuah karya daripada seni Etruscan, karya arca Capitoline Wolf. It is made by casting technique. Dia dibuat daripada teknik acuan, bronze atau gangsa. It is not solid. Dia bukannya tumpat. Maksudnya dia gunakan teknik acuan. The Etruscan were very skillful in this technique. Dia ni sangat handal membuat teknik acuan ni. So they were making, sculpture from ceramic, and for this work of art is from bronze, daripada gangsa. Capitoline Wolf shows a she wolf with a fierce looking face feeding 2 infants. Gambar seekor serigala betina menyusukan 2 kanak-kanak kecil dengan wajah yang garang. Satu orang ibu yang protektif lah seolah-olahnya. The overall representation is naturalistic. Tidaklah real, but it's naturalistically we can see that this wolf, and also there are 2 infants. Okay, the story behind the sculpture is about twins, 2 kembar that were thrown near a river bank, and their father were killed by their uncle. Bapa dia ni, bapa kedua-dua kembar ni dia seorang raja, tapi raja ni telah dibunuh oleh abang dia, iaitu pakcik kepada 2 kembar ni. A she wolf came and fed these 2 hungry twins. Jadi setelah 2 kembar ni dicampak di tepi sungai tu, maka serigala betina datang dan menyusukan, memberi minum pada 2 kanak-kanak ni. Later on, a shepherd came to save the twins. So the twin, one named Romulus and the other Remus. Datanglah pengembala kambing, dia pun selamatkan 2 budak ni. Satu nama Romulus dan Remus. Dia bela budak ni kemudian. As they grew up, Romulus and Remus had a fight, a quarrel, ended with Romulus killing Remus. Setelah dia besar, maka dia bergaduh, bertengkar, maka Romulus telah membunuh Remus. Romulus discovered the city of Rome on 27th of April 753 BC, and he became the first ruler of the place. Romulus ni kemudiannya sebagai seorang pertama menemui bandar Rom, membuka bandar Rom pada 27 April 753 sebelum Masih, dan menjadi pemerintah situ. As a conclusion, Mesopotamian, Aegean and Etruscan art have shown different medium and technique in expressing artistic manifestation. So sebagai kesimpulannya, seni Mesopotamia, seni Aegean dan juga Etruscan ni telah memperlihatkan pelbagai media dan teknik untuk menyampaikan ekspresi seni. The Mesopotamian invented the brick and glazing technique. The Aegean made beautiful mural or fresco, and the Etruscan known for their mold or casting ceramic and bronze sculpture. Okay, so orang Mesopotamia ni mencipta batu-bata dan juga teknik glazing, teknik ceramic and glazing. Aegean pula dia very good in making mural atau fresco, and the Etruscan they were very good in casting atau molding ceramic and bronze sculpture. So for next week, please study and read lecture number 4, Greek and Roman art. Okay, so till then, stay safe. Always observe the PKP SOP. So take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So bye from now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 4, ATH 435, Art and Design History and Theory. Today we're gonna look into Greek, Roman and early Christian art. So pada hari ini kita akan pergi ke topik seni Greek, seni Yunani, Romawi dan juga seni awal Christian. I hope you are able to cope with this course, also with the ODL style of learning. And if you're having problem or difficulties in understanding the topic, please get back to me. Contact me, discuss your problem. You can personal message me, you can make a video call, WhatsApp or email me or even telephone me at any point of time. Jadi jika anda ada masalah untuk memahami lecture ni, anda boleh hubungi saya jika ada masalah. Tak ada masalah. So kita akan cuba buat lecture ni bilingual, bahasa Inggeris dan bahasa Melayu. So the topic Greek, Roman and Christian art. So before that I would tell you again and again, please refer to your notes. Nota tu cetak, jadikan dia macam buku dan sentiasa rujuk pada nota tu bila mendengar recording saya. So for today we have 4 recordings. Ada video 1 hingga video 4. So stay with me until we finish the 4 recordings. Okay. So tajuk ni Greek, Roman and early Christian art. They are interrelated. The Greek, they had a great civilization even before Christ. Jadi orang Greek ni dia ada tamadun yang hebat sebelum datangnya zaman sebelum datang zaman Masih dan selepas Masih. The Greek were later dominated by the Roman. So the Greek and Roman, they had big empire, but later the Roman they have the upper hand. Mereka ni orang Roman, orang Romawi ni mengatasi orang Greek. So they were the superpower of that time. And they were actually attacking the Persian as well. Dia menakluki orang Greek, orang Yunani, dan mereka menjadi kuasa besar. Yang kemudian mereka menguasai orang Parsi. So and the Roman actually adopted the art like of the Greek, but they had lot of innovation. Seni orang Roman ni dia satu peniruan daripada seni Greece atau seni orang Yunani tadi, orang Greek. Tetapi mereka ada banyak inovasi. So the Roman, they were very good in civil engineering. They made a lot of big and complicated building. Because they have discover a new medium, which is concrete and steel. Dia orang Roman ni, dia seperti orang Yunani juga, seperti orang Greek tadi. Mereka menggunakan falsafah klasikal, iaitu kesempurnaan. Tetapi mereka ni sangat pandai menggunakan bahan baru, iaitu konkrit dan juga keluli. Dan mereka buat bangunan yang canggih-canggih. So there was a time when the Greek was actually was under the domination of the Roman, and that happened around 30 after Christ atau 30 AD, tahun masih 30. Orang Yunani ni, orang Greek ni ditakluk oleh orang Roman. Okay, so the Roman, they had empire, which is the what we call the Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. Empire ni besar, belah timur sampai ke Turki, belah barat semua Europe. Belah barat, in the west the capital was in Rome, and in the east the capital was in Constantinople, atau namanya sekarang ni ialah Istanbul. So the Roman later on became Christian. In the beginning, they were not accepting Christianity. Dia tak menerima. Dan orang Kristian banyak mendapat didakwa atau akan dihukum kalau mereka menyebarkan Kristian. So that's why in early Christian art, there's no proper art form. And they were making art form in the form of underground painting. Catatan di bawah tanah, maksudnya mereka buat macam tunnel, macam terowong. Dalam terowong tu disimpan mayat-mayat orang Kristian, dan juga mereka buat lukisan di situ atau catatan yang dinamakan catacomb art. So but later on when the Roman Empire, salah satu Roman Empire's emperor, salah satu maharaja Roman tu menjadi Kristian, namanya Constantine. So Constantine declared Christian as the official religion of Roman Empire, dan dia mengisytiharkan Kristian sebagai agama resmi. Barulah Roman Empire menerima seni Kristian. So that happened around 313 AD, iaitu tahun Masihi 313 selepas lahir Nabi Isa, after the birth of Jesus Christ. Okay, now we come to Greek art. Bila kita kembali ke seni Yunani, dia adalah seni yang dikatakan classical art, seni yang berdasarkan mimesis, teori peniruan, mimesis, iaitu the philosophy is that an artist has to copy, as close as possible, as real as possible, the object in front of him. Pelukis tu kena melukiskan seberapa real gambar yang dia nampak di depannya. Then he would later on perfect the object. Dia akan menyempurnakan objek itu sempurna, to make an ideal representation of what he saw in front of him, dan membuat satu representasi yang ideal. Kita akan lihat nanti, we will see how this concept is applied in sculpture. Kita akan lihat nanti dalam seni arca bagaimana arca di zaman classical dan juga Hellenistic. So it will be in the second video. I'll be discuss about the work of the sculpture of the Greek art. So if we refer to the note, you can see the concept of mimesis atau falsafah keindahan yang berdasarkan peniruan ni, which was established by Plato and juga Aristotle, even before the birth of Jesus Christ. So I will discuss this in the second video. We'll discuss about second video. So stay with me. From the first video, second and third video, and the fourth video. Okay. So then we go into the work of Greek art in terms of what you call ceramic. So they have a very what you call beautiful kind of ceramic shape. Bentuk-bentuk ceramik yang begitu menarik, seperti kilix untuk minuman, amphora untuk memancuh wine dan juga air, crater untuk membawa air, lekitos untuk minyak wangi, dan juga hydria untuk membawa air. So you can refer to notes. Maybe I miss out the real function of the ceramic, so you refer to notes. And also the Greek, they have what you call beautiful architectural order. Mereka ni ada menghasilkan aturan seni bina, iaitu Doric, Ionic dan Corinthian. These are all architectural order atau aturan dalam seni bina. So orang Greece ni atau orang Yunani atau orang Greek ni, mereka telah mencapai satu tamadun yang tinggi. So all the building, the public building, and also the temple, the theatre, and the shopping mall, everything is placed on a location called Acropolis, in Athens. If somebody goes to Athens nowadays, even there's the remain, there's the remains of the ancient architecture. Jika siapa pergi ke bandar Athens, boleh pergi ke bukit tu bernama Acropolis. You can see all those the ruins, peninggalan kompleks, pentadbiran dan juga bangunan-bangunan awam. So we come to Roman art. So the Roman took over the Greek Empire around 30 AD. Lebih kurang 30 lebih tahun Masihi. Maka orang Roman yang menakluk orang Greek. So the Greek sculpture was mainly made of marble. Kebanyakannya arca orang Yunani, orang Greek, daripada batu marmar. Tetapi orang Roman, they made a Roman copy of that. Dia membuat satu kopi atau salinan menggunakan bahan konkrit. So tetapi the Roman is always the Roman are always very good in architecture. So the example of architecture is the Colosseum. Colosseum is built around 70 AD. Dibina sekitar 70 tahun selepas Masihi. So it is a symbol of Roman achievement and innovation. Simbol kejayaan orang Roma dan juga inovasinya. So I will discuss this in part 3. So I will discuss in detail on Colosseum in part 3 of my video. So again, you have to stay with me for the part 3 of the next video. Other important building in Roman art including the aqueduct in France. Aqueduct is a structure to pipe water from one point to another. Dia saluran air, membawa air ke satu tempat ke satu tempat yang lain. Seperti satu terusan, tapi dia buat daripada konkrit. So you can refer to the notes. So dan juga another important architecture is called the Arch of Constantine. Relung Constantine, the Arch of Constantine, AD 312 to 315. Sempena kemenangan Konstantin menaklukki Konstantinopel ataupun bandar Istanbul tu, yang ditukar nama je Konstantinopel tu, nama dia Konstantin. Maka dia telah buat satu gerbang, gerbang memperingatinya, yang mana gerbang ni ada dalam nota anda kan lihat. Ni contoh seni bina dia. Dan sebenarnya seni Roman ni banyak dia punya innovationnya. Cuma di sini kita bincangkan beberapa contoh saja. Nah, bila kita pergi ke seni Kristian yang sebelum ni kita terangkan tadi, sebelum tahun 313 atau sebelum tahun 300, maka seni Kristian adalah di bawah tidak akui oleh orang Roman, not recognized by the Roman. So only after AD 313, then only the persecution of the Roman has ended. Pendakwaan, hukuman tahun Kristian barulah hilang. Apabila Maharaja Konstantin tu, dia sendiri menjadi Kristian dan mengumumkan agama Kristian menjadi agama rasmi untuk Empire Rome. So yang kita lihat nanti dalam contoh seni awal Kristian adalah sebuah karya. We'll be looking at a work, a mosaic cycle, karya batu mosaic. Mosaic lah batu yang disusun menjadi image daripada gereja, daripada Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome, di mana karya ni mengesahkan perpisahan antara Abraham and Lot, mengikut versi Kristian. Kisah perpisahan antara Nabi Ibrahim dan Nabi Lut. Ini juga saya akan bincangkan dalam video nombor 4. So stay with me till the end. So another important Christian architecture is the Church of Saint Peter in Rome. Ini dibina oleh Konstantin untuk sebagai simbol keagungan Kristian di bandar Rome. So stay with me with video number 2, 3 and 4 to have more or detailed appreciation of the artwork from the Greek, Roman and Christian art. So bye for now. So we'll go to the second, third and fourth video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 4, part 2. So I will discuss the concept of classical Greek art, or we term is mimesis in sculpture. So kita akan bincangkan teori seni Greek, iaitu konsep mimesis atau peniruan. So on the screen now there are 2 example of Greek sculpture. Ada 2 contoh arca ataupun arca seni Yunani tu. The top one is called discobolus or the discus thrower. Yang atas tu namanya discus thrower atau pelempar cakra, by the sculptor named Myron, pengarca bernama Myron. In this is from the classical era, daripada zaman classical. Kita ada we have in Greek art, we have the geometric, archaic, classical, Hellenistic. Itu zaman-zaman dia. So this from the classical era. It's made from bronze daripada gangsa, 450 BC, 450 tahun sebelum Masih. In the era before classical, the era of geometric and archaic, the sculpture was stiff, unrealistic, and static. Sebelum zaman classical Hellenistic, karya arcanya kaku. So this sculpture by Myron shown a good realistic representation of male figure. Karyanya menunjukkan representasi yang real, figura lelaki. The concept is called mimesis. Konsep ni dipanggil mimesis, yang mana kita terangkan tadi, or imitation. That is trying to create a realistic and ideal figure, a perfection of man, as a measurement of the perfection in art. So the human body is, in this sculpture, the human body is proportionate, good muscular structure and non-static pose. This is called contrapposto. Dalam karya ni, kita tengok bahawa kesempurnaan figura manusia, figura yang ideal. Figura ideal ni simbol ukuran kesempurnaan seni dan kesempurnaan alam. So figuranya, kadar bandingnya betul, struktur ototnya baik, dan juga dia punya pose-nya adalah tidak statik, iaitu kakinya tu dipanggil teknik contrapposto, ataupun kakinya tidaklah maksud kakinya salah satu kaki tu diletak di hadapan. So in the second sculpture shown below, this called Nike adjusting her sandal. This from the Hellenistic period, 410 to 407 BC. Yang di bawah tu arca tu dikenali sebagai Dewi, ataupun Dewi Athena Nike membetulkan sandalnya, kasutnya. This is a story of the goddess Athena Nike, the goddess of victory. Dewi Athena Nike atau Dewi kemenangan. Shown adjusting her sandal, ditunjukkan di sini membetulkan kasutnya. So the figure is proportionate, but further dramatic effect is the draperies, which is considered as an ideal beauty and harmony. Jadi samping tubuhnya yang digambarkan secara real, kadar bandingnya baik, juga ditunjukkan kesan kedutan kain yang dianggap indah dan berharmoni. The pose is also non-static, atau dipanggil contrapposto. Itu gaya figurannya tidak kaku, iaitu sebelah kaki diangkatkan. So another important dramatic example of beauty and harmony can be referred in the note. Kalau kita tengok nota tu, di sculpture called Nike of Samothrace, ataupun kisah Nike juga, dia sedang merestui peperangan di laut. That is from 190 before Christ. 190 sebelum Masihi. Bahannya daripada batu marmer, from marble. So stay with me for the third video. We'll be talking about Colosseum in Roman art. So bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera. So this is part 3 of lecture number 4, ATH 435. We are now discussing the architecture in Roman art called the Colosseum, built between 70 to 80 AD. The other name for Colosseum is the Flavian Amphitheater. Ini adalah bahagian ketiga daripada kuliah nombor 4. Sekarang kita akan berbincang tentang seni bina Romawi. Dalam seni Romawi bernama Colosseum. Dibina sekitar tahun 70 hingga 80 tahun Masihi. Nama lainnya adalah Flavian Amphitheater. The building, building was started under the command of the Emperor Vespasian, then followed by his son, Emperor Titus, then completed under the supervision of Emperor Domitian. It is the largest amphitheater in the world, built by thousands of slaves. Dia adalah teater terbuka, panggung terbuka terbesar di dunia, dibina oleh beribu-ribu hamba abdi. A place for gladiatorial games. During the opening, the gladiatorial match lasted for 100 days. Ini tempat di mana tawanan perang kemudian dijadikan sebagai gladiators atau pejuang-pejuang yang akan berlawan dalam di amphitheater ni, dan sama ada mereka berlawan sama mereka atau berlawan dengan binatang, whether they are having a fight with other gladiators or they having a fight with the with wild animals. Okay, so there's the basement of the amphitheater of this Colosseum, where they put all the slave and all the captive and the animals. So from the basement, this animal and the gladiators will be sent to the arena. Jadi semua pesalah-pesalah dan juga gladiator, pejuang-pejuang atau pahlawan-pahlawan gladiators ni, mereka ni orang tawanan sebenarnya, tapi dijadikan gladiators. Mereka duduk di kawasan basement atau bawah tanah di bahagian bawah daripada Colosseum ni. Dan mereka akan dikeluarkan ke arena di tingkat pertama untuk dia mengadakan perlawanan. Okay? So in 450 years, 4.5 dekad, ada 40,000 people have died. 400,000 people have died in this gladiators fight. Dalam pertarungan gladiator dan juga bersama manusia atau binatang, 400,000 orang telah mati. And this amphitheater can hold up to 50 to 80,000 spectators. Amphitheater ni boleh menampung 50,000 hingga 80,000 penonton. It has 80 entrances, 80 pintu masuk. The architectural order actually is Greek architectural order. Doric for the first level, Ionic the second level, and third and fourth level is the Corinthian. Aturan seni bina Yunani dipakai. Doric tingkat pertama, Ionic, pada Corinthian tingkat 3 dan tingkat 4. It is made from stone, daripada blok-blok batu dan reinforced by iron, diperkuatkan dengan besi-besi. According to the Roman ni dia ada kata-kata dia lah. While stand the Colosseum, Rome shall stand. Selagi Colosseum tu berdiri, maka Rome tu akan tetap tegak. While falls the Colosseum, Rome shall fall. Kalau Colosseum ni rebah, maka Rome akan jatuh, hancur. When Rome falls, the world. Jika Rome tu jatuh atau rebah, maka dunia akan hancur. There was a saying. Dia mengatakan the Colosseum is like a symbol of the achievement and the glory of the Roman Empire. Kejayaan dan kegemenangan Empire Rome. So the Colosseum is the largest amphitheater in the world. Dia adalah pentas ataupun amphitheater terbuka yang terbesar di dunia. Dia punya panjangnya adalah 189 meter, 189 meter long, 156 meter wide. Lebarnya 156 meter, 24,000 square meter, 24,000 meter persegi. That is more or less like 6 acre, macam tanah 6 ekar lah. The height is 48 meters. Okay? So the Colosseum is a symbol of Roman achievement in architecture. The innovative and very complex building. And which is actually the symbol of the Roman achievement. Okay, so stay with me with the for the fourth video. We'll be talking about early Christian art. So bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is part 4 of lecture number 4. So we will discuss the work of the early Christian art from the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome. So this is an example of a mosaic cycle dated back to 430 AD. Kita sedang membicarakan karya mozaik. Iaitu mozaik lah batu berwarna yang disusun membentuk image-image daripada bangunan daripada church atau gereja di Santa Maria Maggiore di Rome sekitar tahun 430 tahun Masih. The figure are not real, static and symbolic. The most important is the story. The symbolic meaning of the figure, the story from the Old Testament, from the Bible. A dramatic story of Abraham and Lot, according to the Christian version. Dia figuranya memang tak real. tidak kadar bandingnya tak betul, tak seperti karya Greek dan Roman, okey. Tetapi yang penting adalah kisahnya. Kisahnya adalah simbolik daripada Old Testament, daripada Injil Lama, Injil Tua. Kisah daripada mengikut versi Kristian, bukan Injil daripada version Islam. Dramatic stories, karyaan dramatik melihatkan perselisihan antara Nabi Ibrahim dan juga Nabi Lut according to Christian version. So dikatakan mereka ni ada perselisihan faham mengenai, kalau ikut setengah buku, they were having argument because of gembalaan kambing. Panjanglah ceritanya. So in this Mosaddiq cycle is shown that Lot is making a move to the right hand side, and Abraham is making moving towards a building like a church. Jadi according to the story from the Bible, so Lot is moving towards a city called Sodom. So Sodom is now near the Dead Sea in Israel, and Abraham is moving towards Canaan, which is now in Gaza, West Bank of Gaza. Jadi katakan Nabi Lot tu menuju ke bandar Sodom, yang itu sekarang ni dekat Laut Mati lah, dekat belah Israel, dan Nabi Ibrahim tu menuju ke bandar Gaza, tebing barat. Okay. So the choice of Lot is like according to the Old Testament is an evil choice. Dikatakan bahawa Lot telah buat pilihan yang tak baik. So he went to the city of Sodom. The city of Sodom, according to the narration, is where the people of Sodom practices homosexuality. Iaitu seks luar tabi'i, laki dengan laki-laki. And Abraham was in a good position because he was symbolically shown going to a church. Nabi Ibrahim, according to version ni, dia menuju ke tempat yang baik dan dia berdoa agar bencana tak ditimpakan atas kaum Lut. Dan terutamanya pada, kalau according to version Kristian ni, Lut ni anak saudara kepada Nabi Ibrahim. Jadi dia cakap supaya Lut ni jangan kena bencana kerana orang di bandar Sodom tu mengamalkan homoseksual. So this is an example of the early Christian art, where the figure is not real, but the most important thing is the story behind it. So later on, in 15th and 17th century, during the Renaissance, the Christian art is shown in a very realistic manner. Ditunjukkan dengan gaya yang betul-betul realistic. They are coming back to the idea of the Roman and the Greek art, where the perfection of human figure will be shown. We will deal with that later on in Renaissance art. So, but for next week, please study and read on what you call Islamic art, medieval art, and also early proto-Renaissance art. So I hope that we'll be able to cover all these topics next week. So inshallah we'll be having 7 lectures altogether. Then after that we'll think of the exam and the test for you. Okay. So stay safe. Follow the PKP SOP. Stay home. If you've got nothing important to do, so just stay home. Okay. So take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So alhamdulillah, welcome back to ATH 435 Art and Design History and Theory. Today we're going to look into the Islamic art, medieval art, proto-Renaissance art and Renaissance art. So we are now doing lecture number 5. Okay. So there are altogether 4 recordings. Okay. Lecture number 5 part 1, 2, 3 and 4. So stay with me until the end. Hari ini kita akan bicarakan tentang lecture kuliah kelima, iaitu seni Islam, seni zaman pertengahan, proto-Renaissance dan seni Renaissance. Jadi ada 4 recording. Jadi tunggulah sampai habis. Okay. So the first one is Islamic art. Islamic art is based on the concept of Tawheed, that are the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the oneness of God. Secondly, is based on the kalimah La ilallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Then the third one is no visual representation of God or Prophet, no realistic representation of human or animal figure, and finally, abstracted and denaturalized plant form and geometric design and calligraphy are the main form of art. Jadi seni Islam ni berdasarkan tauhid. Konsep tauhid tu pertama ialah keesaan Allah. Yang kedua adalah berdasarkan kalimah tauhid La ilallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Yang ketiga, tidak boleh buat gambaran Tuhan atau Nabi. Yang keempat, maka tak boleh buat bentuk realistik manusia atau binatang. Dan yang kelima adalah seni had, seni geometrik, arabes, dan juga bentukan tidak sejadi daripada tumbuhan tu adalah bentuk-bentuk seni yang utama. So dalam in all aspect of Islamic art, Islamic calligraphy is the most noble of all. This is because it was and is still the way to document the word of Allah, Al-Quran, the Kalamullah. The muharir or the person who writes the hat or the calligrapher is honored and rewarded in this world and also in the hereafter. Hat is not only facilitating the documentation of the Quran, but it was used to write down thousands of books of kitab and letters sent by the Prophet to make propagation da'wah of Islam. And also the calligraphy is used in as ornament and as a decoration for the architecture and also in domestic object. Jadi seni hat ni penting kerana dia adalah cara untuk menulis Al-Quran. Sebab tu dia diperindahkan dan untuk merakam Al-Quran dan juga menulis surat-surat rasmi kerajaan Islam dan juga menyalin kitab-kitab dan sebagai hiasan pada seni bina dan juga pada barang-barang kegunaan. Hat is so important for decoration of building like mosque and other artifact. Untuk menghiasi masjid-masjid dan juga alatan-alatan yang lain. Example of calligraphic style are the Kufi, Nasah, Tulus, Diwani and many others. Dan seni hat ni dia adalah gaya-gayanya, gaya yang tradisional tu seperti Kufi, Nasah, Tulus, Diwani dan sebagainya. Now we come to the first architecture of the Islamic art. Okay, Dome of the Rock ataupun Quba As-Sakra in Jerusalem is an example of Islamic architecture. In the form a building next to Masjid Al-Aqsa. It is not Masjid Al-Aqsa; it's near to Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. It's called Dome of the Rock ataupun Quba As-Sakra. So I will discuss in detail of this Quba As-Sakra in video number 2. Okay, so stay with me. Okay. So anyway, Islamic art will be dealt with in lengthy in second semester. The subject ATS 475 is specifically on Islamic art. So that's why in this lecture we don't really go into in depth of Islamic art. Okay, dalam seni bina Islam ni, seni bina yang tertua yang dijumpai adalah Quba As-Sakra ataupun Dome of the Rock. Dikatakan tempat di mana batu yang nak mengikut Nabi Mi'raj ke langit tu di Jerusalem, dia bukannya Masjid Aqsa, dia berdekatan Masjid Aqsa. So ini saya akan bincang dalam video yang kedua. Jadi ikutilah video ni sampai habis. Okay? So selepas tu kita pergi ke zaman pertengahan. So if we can remember, now we go to the medieval art. Okay? Last week we have discussed on early Christian art. After the Roman Empire turned to Christianity, around 375 AD, this period marked the beginning of the medieval art until 1300, 1300 AD, that the coming of what we call the coming of Renaissance ataupun the coming of Proto-Renaissance. That will be discussed later. Jadi sebenarnya minggu lepas kita bincang tentang seni Romawi yang kemudiannya telah menjadi Kristian. Sekitar tahun masih 300 hingga 375 something like that. So ketika inilah selepas itu bermula zaman dikatakan seni medieval, seni pertengahan. Masih dalam pengaruh seni awal Kristian, dan hinggalah ke sekitar tahun 1300 tahun Masihi, iaitu di zaman Proto-Renaissance. Belum datang Renaissance lagi, zaman awal Renaissance, Proto-Renaissance. Medieval art is divided into 3 periods. Early medieval, 375 to 102 AD. The Romanesque period, 1000 to 1150 AD. And the Gothic period, 1150 to 1300 AD. So most of the art of the above periods are unrealistic, Christian, and with a lot emphasis on Christian teaching from the Bible, very symbolic and very religious in nature. Jadi kesemua dalam tiga-tiga era tadi, awal Christian dan juga zaman zaman early medieval, zaman Romanesque dan juga zaman Gotik ni, kebanyakan karyanya adalah berbentuk keagamaan, kisah-kisah dari Bible. So example of the early medieval period is the painting called Saint Matthew, from the book of Linen Sword. You can refer to the notes. Okay, so this is a symbolic painting on a book. This painting is called Illumination, telling the story of from the Bible. How Matthew actually, written down the word of God. Jadi sebenarnya daripada zaman awal medieval ni, kita tengok satu karya berjudul Saint Matthew, daripada kitab Book of Linen Sword, yang mana dikatakan di sini catatan ni adalah catatan pada buku, dipanggil Illumination, catatan pada kitab, daripada kisah dari Bible, bagaimana dikatakan Matthew tu, Saint Matthew tu menulis wahyu daripada Tuhan. So dan juga example from the Romanesque period ni, zaman Romanesque tadi yang kita katakan, Romanesque ialah seakan-akan dia kembali ke zaman Roman, bangunan yang besar. So example from the Romanesque period is the architecture of Saint Philibert in France, with monumental design like the Roman art. That's why it's called Romanesque. Sebab itulah dia panggil Romanesque, kerana bangunan tu besar dan inovatif seperti seni Romawi. The Gothic period show a more radical and more innovative architecture. Dalam zaman seni awal medieval ni, seni Gothic lah yang paling menonjol. So they become like a secular architecture dan kurang keagamaannya. So this I will talk in detail about Gothic architecture, especially the Cathedral Notre Dame de Paris, in video number 3. So stay with me till the end. Okay, so in video number 3 I will talk about the architecture of the Gothic art. Okay, then in 13th to 14th century came an art period called the Proto-Renaissance. Kita abad ke-13, 14 ni, sebelum datang zaman Renaissance, datang satu zaman dengan Proto-Renaissance. So Proto-Renaissance is a period before the coming of Renaissance. Renaissance is a revival of the classical Roman and Greek art. Okay, so example of Proto-Renaissance art is the painting called Madonna Enthroned by 1310 by Giotto. So in this painting, if you refer to the notes, you look at the painting, shows a bit element of realistic image. Also the treatment of space, you can see the foreground, middle ground and background, and a more realistic painting that leads toward the Renaissance. Jadi daripada karya ni, kisah Madonna, kisah Madonna ataupun Mariam ditabalkan. So dalam karya ni, dia walaupun religius tapi nampak agak real. Dan juga ruangnya tu nampak ruang depan, tengah, belakang, maka dikatakan dia membawa kepada kedatangan zaman Renaissance. So Renaissance is the art movement between 16th century to 18th century, 16th century to 18th century, iaitu 1500 to 1700 AD, tahun masih 1500 hingga 1700. In Renaissance art, a fully realistic figure, space and perspective are shown. Dalam seni Renaissance ni, figura yang realistik, sempurna, dan juga perspektif yang betul, ruang yang tepat ditunjukkan. So the idea of the Roman perfection in art is now revived. Kesempurnaan seni Greek dan Roman tu dihidupkan kembali. Walaupun dia buat gambar Kristian, but the treatment of the figure, cara dia merakam tu realistik. So abad ke-15 dikatakanlah sebagai the 15th century is actually 15th, 16th century, this early Renaissance, and the 17th century, the 16th, 17th century is High Renaissance. Okay, so High Renaissance witnessed the existence of Michelangelo, Buonarroti, Leonardo da Vinci, and also Raphael Sanzio. So I will discuss the work of these artists, of the High Renaissance in video number 4. So with their important works, like the work by the Raphael Sanzio, the School of Athens. So stay with me, and for the second, third, and fourth video. So bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is lecture number 5, part 2. So now we are discussing about the architecture, Islamic architecture, the oldest Islamic architecture, called a building called the Dome of the Rock, or in Arabic Quba As-Sakra. So hari ni kita akan pada video ni kita akan bincang tentang seni bina Islam yang tertua, iaitu Quba As-Sakra atau Quba yang menutupi sekumpulan batu yang dikatakan nak mengikut waktu Nabi di malam Mi'raj, dalam peristiwa Isra Mi'raj, di mana Nabi Muhammad SAW dah naik ke langit. So sejarah, the history of what we call Quba Sakra is dated back to even as early as before Christ. But if we go later than that, around 70 AD, the Roman took over this place. Then remember, the Roman became Christian, and the Christian was the Eastern Christian Empire, or the Byzantine, took charge of this place. Then only Sayyidina Umar Lanhu, the second Khalifa of Khulafa Rashidin, he took over the place in 636 AD. So it is said that there was no battle, no nothing. He was given the key by the keeper of the of Jerusalem. So jadi ini bila kita kaji sejarah Dome of the Rock, di zaman sebelum dikatakan tempat Jerusalem, tempat di mana Nabi Isa dilahirkan. Tapi kalau kita pergi selepas tu, zaman Roman tahun 70 tahun Masihi, bahawa zaman 70 Masihi, Roman menguasai tempat ni. Kemudiannya orang Romawi menjadi Kristian, dan Kristian Timur atau Byzantine dia menguasai tempat ni. Hinggalah Sayyidina Umar sebagai Khalifah Khulafa Rashidin yang kedua pada tahun 636 tahun Masihi telah datang, dan tanpa peperangan yang besar, dia telah diberi kunci oleh penjaga kota tu sendiri. Bangunan ni dikatakan actually this building experienced earthquake in 808 AD, around there, or 846 AD, and some disruption has happened to the building, and it was rebuilt after 1022 to around 1022 AD. Dikatakan bangunan ni pernah runtuh pada tahun 808 tahun Masihi kerana gegaran gempa bumi, dan dibina semula pada tahun 1022. So bangunan, the building has a octagon structure. The structure is octagon. Okay. Bangunan ni berbentuk 8 segi, octagon. So after when Sayyidina Umar took over Jerusalem, there was a mosque dedicated to him. It's called the Masjid of Umar. So people sometimes confuse. The Dome of the Rock, they said this is the the Mosque of Omar. No, the Mosque of Omar is near to the Dome of Rock, and Dome of Rock is not Masjid Aqsa. Okay, Masjid Aqsa is near to the Dome of Rock, but Dome of Rock is counted as the Tanah Haram. It's counted as the sacred land as well. So after the time of the Khulafa Rashidin, during the time of Umayyah, so the Khalifah of Umayyah called Abdul Malik bin Marwan, he actually, to so many historians say that he built this building, okay, to commemorate, as a symbol of the victory of Islam, coming to Jerusalem. Jadi sebenarnya ramai juga orang keliru, orang ingat bangunan Dome of Rock ni adalah Masjid Aqsa. Masjid Aqsa lain, walaupun Dome of Rock ni lah sebahagian tanah haram, tempat suci orang Islam, tapi dia bukannya Masjid Aqsa. Masjid Aqsa tu sebelah tu. Dan juga ada juga orang keliru cakap ni Masjid Umar. Masjid Umar pun dibina tempat lain. Ini adalah memang Dome of Rock. Okay? So selepas zaman Umayyah tu, selepas Khulafa Rashidin, maka Khalifah Umayyah Malik bin Marwan telah membina bangunan ini sebagai simbol kedatangan Islam ke Jerusalem. Ada juga sejarawan mengatakan dibina oleh Sayyidina Umar sendiri. Ada juga sejarawan mengatakan dia dibina oleh Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan. So tetapi kebanyakan ahli sejarah mengatakan dibina oleh Abdul Malik bin Marwan. Okay? So selepas itu, selepas zaman Sayyidina Umar tu, maka pada tahun 1099, tahun 1099, in 1099, Dome of Rock is dominated by the Crusade. Tentera Salib dah menguasai kawasan ni. And in 2nd of October 1190, Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi took over Jerusalem. And he took charge of Quba Sakra, and the cross on top of this Dome of Rock is changed into a crescent, symbol of Islam. Jadi sebenarnya orang Kristian kemudiannya orang Tentera Salib menguasai pada tahun 1099, 1099, hinggalah pada tahun 1190, pada 2 Oktober Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi telah menakluki kawasan ni. Dan salib di atas Dome of Rock tu dia turunkan dan dia naikkan simbol bulan sabit. Then after that, in 1244 came the barbarian invasion. Then only in 1570 it became a part of the Ottoman Empire. So what happened after that? After 1970, after the First World War, the PBB, the United Nations has acknowledged the existence of Israel, as the western part of Jerusalem has been given to Israel. So the Jewish actually claim that it was the Temple of Solomon. Jadi sebenarnya yang kita kembali tadi, pada Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi telah menaklui kawasan ni, dan kemudiannya pada tahun 1244 orang Barbaria, orang Gasar telah menaklui kawasan ni. Hinggalah pada tahun 1517 kerajaan Uthmaniyah Turki telah jadikan sebahagian kawasan takluk dia. Tapi selepas Turki kalah dalam Perang Dunia yang pertama pada tahun 1917, maka melalui bangsa-bangsa bersatu, Israel telah menempati kawasan barat kawasan ni, dan menguasai Dome of the Rock juga. So the Jewish claim it was the Temple of Solomon. The Roman also had built a temple on this side. Okay. And the Christian also said this is one of a place of their sacred land. So in Islam, the Quba marked the coming of Islam to Jerusalem. So it is said that the Quba is a building where the rock that wanted to follow the Prophet during the Mi'raj to the heaven, during when Nabi SAW was ascending to the heaven. So the monument is a symbol of victory, and also to commemorate the Isra Mi'raj, and also to cover the rock that is actually a rock that tried to follow Nabi during the Isra Mi'raj. Jadi orang Yahudi mengatakan ini tempat Nabi Sulaiman dulu, dan juga orang Rom mengatakan ini tempat kuil dia juga. Dan bagi orang Islam ni tempat di mana Nabi telah mi'raj ke langit mana ada batu di situ. Jadi dom ni adalah kubah ni untuk menutup batu-batu ni dan juga sebagai tanda kemenangan Islam ke kawasan ni. Datang Islam ke Jerusalem dari kawasan ni. Dan batu-batu tu ada lagi sampai sekarang. So stay with me for the third video. We will talking about the Gothic architecture, Notre Dame de Paris. So bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is part 3 of lecture number 5. We will be discussing the architecture of the Gothic art called the Cathedral of Notre Dame de Paris. Or the other name for this building is Our Lady of Paris. This architecture, built in 1345, is considered to be the most important building of Gothic architecture of the medieval art. Jadi hari ini kita akan bincang tentang cathedral. Cathedral ni maksudnya gereja besar. Cathedral daripada Perancis, iaitu di bandar Paris dipanggil Notre Dame de Paris, ataupun gereja Our Lady of Paris, iaitu merujuk kepada Madonna atau Mariam. Dibina pada tahun 1345, bangunan terpenting bagi seni gotik dalam seni zaman pertengah atau medieval art. Dedicated to Virgin Mary, that's why it's called Our Lady of Paris. Started in 1163 and finished by 180 years later in 1345. Dikatakan dibina untuk Mary, buat nama Our Lady of Paris. Our Lady itu merujuk kepada Mariam. Dibina pada 1163 dan habis tamat pada 180 tahun selepasnya di pada tahun 1345. This cathedral, Notre Dame Cathedral, is a big church with a big circular rose window. And another important and interesting or unique feature is the flying buttresses. The flying buttresses are like scaffolding holding the side of the cathedral, and it was left as we meant. It was constructed as a support to the building. But later on it was left like that as part of the design of the building, as part of the architecture. Dia satu gereja yang besar, dikatakan mempunyai ciri yang khas, iaitu bentuk tingkapnya berbentuk yang besar, berbentuk bulat dan berbentuk bunga ros. Dan juga tepi bangunannya yang ada macam penahan seperti kaki-kaki yang terkeluar, seperti kalau kita tengok bangunan seperti perancah bangunan, macam scaffolding. Memang asalnya dibina untuk menahan bangunan tu, lepas tu dibiarkan menjadi ciri yang khas bagi seni gotik. Kalau kita tengok dekat slide ni, dekat skrin ni, gambar belah bawah sebelah kiri, ada nampak macam scaffolding, macam kaki-kaki yang terkeluar tu kan, seolah macam monster. Notre Dame was initiated by Maurice de Sully, the Bishop of Paris, in 1160. Then the foundation was laid down by Pope Alexander III in 1163, and it was finished. The building was in its final stage and ready to be used in 1345. The interior of this building is massive, 130 by 48 meter, and the roof is like 35 meter high, and the tallest tower is 68 meter. So it can hold more than 1,000 visitors. It is built on some kind of island on river Seine during the time of King Louis the Seventh. It can hold not less than 1,000 visitors. And what happened it was on fire last year, in 2019, 15 April 2019, and even from that moment until now, restoration has taken place. So dikatakan Notre Dame ni telah dibina oleh Maurice de Sully. Dia yang memberi idenya, Bishop daripada Perancis, pada tahun 1160. Kemudiannya dia punya asalnya telah dibina oleh Pope Alexander yang ketiga pada 1163 dan tamat pada 1345. Bahagian dalamnya adalah tinggi bahagian dalamnya adalah luas 130 kali 48 meter dan juga bumbungnya 35 meter tinggi dan dia punya menaranya 68 meter Dia dibina atas macam sekeping tanah seperti satu pulau di Sungai Sin di tengah-tengah Paris di zaman Raja Louis yang ke-7 So dia boleh menempatkan tidak kurang 1,000 pengunjung dan pada 15 April 2019 bangunan telah terbakar kerana dikatakan masa dia buat kimpalan welding tu dia telah ada short circuit dan sebahagian bangunan telah terbakar. Bangunan asalnya telah terbakar sebahagian besar dan hingga hari ini pemeliharannya terus berlaku So stay with me for the first video right after this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. This is the part 4 of lecture number 5. So this part 4 of lecture number 5 will discuss the work of the high Renaissance artists like the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, the creation of Adam by Michelangelo, and the School of Athens by Raphael Sanzio. On the screen now you can see the work of Raphael Sanzio, the School of Athens, 1509 to 1510. Okay, fresco painting, like a mural painting. Okay, 500 by 770 centimeter from Vatican City, from Apostolic Palace in Rome. Okay, so kita akan bincang tentang karya-karya zaman Renaissance tetapi kita akan mengkhusus kepada karya Raphael Sanzio yang mana anda lihat dekat skrin ni, karya Raphael Sanzio, The School of Athens 1509 hingga 1510. Ni catatan dinding fresco 500 kali 720 cm daripada bandar Vatican Vatican City di Rome, daripada satu istana Apostolic Palace. The high Renaissance period had perfected the Renaissance art in sense that it is not only realistic perfection of figure but also the concept of beauty and harmony together with the scientific knowledge of perspective to show space. So a painting look like a window to the real world. Jadi zaman Agung Renaissance ni dia telah menyempurnakan seni Renaissance tu yang mana bukan saja dia telah buat peniruan gaya Greek dan Romawi, iaitu peniruan yang sempurna, iaitu juga dia telah menghasilkan figura sempurna yang real, juga menghasilkan konsep beauty and harmony, kecantikan dan keharmonian. Bersamanya ialah teori saintifik, misalnya perspektif. Kalau kita tengok dalam karya ni, perspektif digunakan untuk menampakkan ruang. So catatan seperti satu tingkap yang melihat ke alam sebenarnya, seolah kita boleh ukur jarak tu. The painting is like a window to the real world. So in this work, dalam karya ni, Raphael is showing all the Greek philosopher with Plato and Aristotle at the center. Renaissance actually is a revival of classical art. That's why when Raphael was commissioned to paint a painting to be placed in the library of this Apostolic Palace in Rome, he decided to portray the learned people of the ancient Greece. Jadi dalam karya ni Raphael tunjukkan ahli-ahli falsafah zaman Greek. Plato dan Aristotle tu di tengah-tengah, dekat titik lesap perspektif tu. So sebenarnya Renaissance adalah kebangkitan semua seni klasikal. Sebab itulah bila Raphael ditugaskan untuk buat karya di dalam library di istana Apostolic di Rome ni. Jadi dia fikir dalam library tempat orang terpelajar. Jadi dia buatlah gambar ahli-ahli falsafah di zaman Greece, di zaman seni Greek. Jadi ini nak tunjukkan iaitu orang inilah kegemilangan zaman Greek yang dihidupkan semula di zaman Renaissance. So the figure are realistic, the space are superb with the foreground, middle ground and background, and the one point perspective is working very well. Figuranya dibuat dengan sempurna, warna, bentuk, garisan semuanya Ruangnya juga dibuat dengan titik lesap perspektif yang menampak ruang depan, tengah dan belakang. So some scholars regard this work as an ideal painting in terms of form and content. Sebab itulah ada banyak ahli sejarah mengatakan inilah catatan yang sempurna, yang ideal dari segi bentuk dan juga makna. Ini menandakan kegemilangan zaman Renaissance, mana mereka menghasilkan figura yang sempurna, cantik, kecantikan dan keharmonian, dan juga dengan kesempurnaan penceritaan, dan juga dengan juga dibantu oleh aspek-aspek saintifik, perspektif garisan dan sebagainya. So for the next lecture, please study notes for the 17, 18 and 19th century art. Okay, so we meet again next week. So stay safe, stay home, follow the PKP SOP. So take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So alhamdulillah, we are back again with ATH 435 Art and Design History and Theory. So we are now in week 6. We are still finishing lecture number 5 towards the end. Okay, so in that case, consider this as lecture number 6. So we will finish all lectures in week 8. In that case, so next week we'll be having the lecture number 7, and in week 8 hopefully we can finish. Hopefully, then in week 9 onwards you will be with Encik Radin, Radin Eros, for lectures on history of design. This is the second part of ATH 435. Jadi minggu ni kita buat lecture nombor 6 walaupun kita buat di minggu ke-6, tapi chapter 5 penghujungnya tak habis. Chapter ni panjang, tetapi kita kira ni sebagai lecture nombor 6. So lecture nombor 6 minggu depan kita kira sebagai lecture nombor 7. So kita akan habiskan pada minggu ke-8. Minggu ke-9 anda akan bersama Encik Radin Eros, dan dia akan conduct lecture untuk history of design. Itu bahagian kedua daripada ATH 435. In week 10 or 11, Radin will conduct test for 40% in the form of quiz menggunakan Google Form. Then in week 13, 14 or 15, there will be another test for 60%. So that's 60% for my lecture, from lecture number 1 to lecture number 8. So don't worry, I will remind you again and again. I will brief you next week, InsyaAllah. Jadi pada minggu ke-10 hari 11, Cik Radin akan buat satu quiz 40% gunakan Google Form. Jadi dia akan buat segala ujian untuk kelas History of Design. Pada minggu 13, 14 ataupun 15, Encik Radin akan buat satu test 60%, iaitu segala kuliah saya daripada kuliah 1 sampai kuliah 8 untuk 60%. Jangan bimbang, saya akan ingatkan anda lagi dan saya akan terangkan lagi. So for today we want to discuss the 17, 18 and 19th century art. So to make it simple, to make it easy, we can summarize 17th century Baroque art, 18th century Rococo art, and 19th century we have 5 important movements like Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism, Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. Kita akan ringkaskan mudah aja. 17 tu Baroque art, 18 tu Rococo, dan 19 tu ada 5 aliran penting: Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism, Impressionism dan Post-Impressionism. Now we go to Baroque art. Baroque art, 17th century. The main characteristic of Baroque art is it shows great dramatic effect, deep color and the treatment of light, which we term as chiaroscuro. Jadi ciri Baroque ni senang, karyanya berbentuk drama, seakan teater, dan juga warnanya begitu mendalam, dan juga cahayanya seperti spotlight dalam painting, yang kita panggil cahaya secara theatrical, seakan teater, sebagai chiaroscuro. This can be seen through the work of Rembrandt, Van Rijn and Caravaggio. Kalau anda lihat nota tu ada karya oleh Rembrandt, The Night Watch, and Caravaggio, The Collection Matu. So I will discuss in video number 2. Saya akan bincang video number 2. Rococo is the 18th century art. This is a secular art. It has got nothing to do with religion or other serious matter. But this is a painting of the outing of the aristocratic couple. Catatan rokoko ni bersifat sekular, tak ada kaitan dengan agama atau nationalism. Dia adalah berkaitan pasangan kekasih aristokrat yang keluar berpelasaran. It shows the work, for example, it's shown through the work of John Anthony Watto. If you refer to the notes, karya berjudul Pilgrimage to Saitera, iaitu jemaah macam jemaah haji lah pergi ke Saitera. It shows an island where the birthplace of Venus, the Roman goddess of love, was born, and couple of male and female, the couple is enjoying their time on this island, celebrated by the Cupid, yang bentuk macam apa budak kecil berkepak tu, we call it Cupid. So another example is by John Honoré Fragona, the Swing, 1766. So I will discuss in video number 3. So stay with me till the end. Okay. Video number 3 will discuss a Rococo painting by Honoré Fragona. The 19th century have seen the emergence of neoclassicism. Neoclassicism is the work, for example, the work by Jack Louis David, if you refer to notes, entitled The Oath of the Horatii. Ini kisah 3 kembar beradik bersumpah nak melawan musuh dia. It's called neoclassicism because of the story and the setting is like Roman art. Then you have romanticism. Romanticism ni bukan kisah cinta. Romanticism maksudnya sikap mereka yang sedih terhadap kelemahan manusia, terhadap kekuasaan alam yang kuat ataupun mereka dizalimi. Romanticism 1800 to 1852 show the philosophy of the immortality or the powerless man over the forces of nature or tyranny by others or tyranny. Menunjukkan kelemahan kita terhadap alam sejadi atau ciptaan Tuhan dan kezaliman orang. Misalnya in the work of Francisco Goya, an artist from Spain, showing the Spanish civilian being killed by Napoleon firing squad. When Napoleon menakluki, after French Revolution, Napoleon menakluki Spanyol, dia membunuh banyak orang tak bersalah. So refer to your notes. Then another important movement, realism. Realism tries to show the life and the condition of the low and middle class of the society. In this connection, the work of Honoré Daumier, called The Third Class Carriage and Oil Painting, 1862, show the condition of the needy and the poor people could just afford to travel on a third class cabin in a train or in a carriage. Dia tunjukkan kehidupan realiti orang miskin, realism. Dalam karya Daumier ni, orang miskin ni dapat naik kereta api kelas ketiga. So the second last movement in the 19th century is called Impressionism. Impression ni maksudnya impression apa yang kita rasa, bukan apa yang kita lihat. So Impressionism is their impression. For the first time ever, landscape has been shown in its own right. Maksudnya landscape tu bukanlah setting bercerita. Dia digambarkan sendiri, tunggal, berotonomi. This shown by the work of Claude Monet, Impression Sunrise. Impression Sunrise, this will be discussed in video number 4. Jadi impressionism bukan melukis apa dia nampak, tapi his atau her impression. Apa yang aku rasa, itu yang dilukis. Sebab tu pengkritik seni memberi julukan impressionism, kerana if this is your impression, then we call them impressionists. So post-impressionism are all the artwork after impressionism. Selepas zaman impressionism ni, karya-karya dan gaya-gaya selepasnya dipanggil post-impressionism. This term was given by the art critic Roger Fry. So you have seen the variety of style. For example, the work of pointillism, menggunakan titik-titik tu, karya oleh George Seurat in his work, very large work, and Afternoon on the Island of La Gonjat. Satu petang di Pulau Lagonja, dan juga karya oleh Sezan is showing his famous brushstroke to show structure and volume of the object seen in front of him. Last and but not least, the work by Vincent van Gogh called Starry Night. So I'll be discussing Starry Night in detail in video number 5. So stay with me till the end, refer to your notes and contact me if you have any problem or inquiry. Bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now discussing the work by Rembrandt. This is lecture number 6, part 2, 8H435. So we are discussing the artwork of the 17th century Baroque art. Now on the screen you see this is the work by Rembrandt von Rijn. Ataupun dia ni dikenali dengan nama pertama dia Rembrandt. Biasanya Mak Saleh ni disebut nama yang last. But for Rembrandt he is like special. People will always mention name Rembrandt. Lived between 1606 to 1669. He's from Netherlands, Belanda. This painting is called Night Watch, or the original title is called Militia Company of Captain Franz Benning Koch. Oil painting on canvas from the now is in Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. This painting was commissioned by the captain, Captain Benning Koch, to show his troop. Although the title is Night Watch, but the set situation is actually in daylight. The Night Watch is just to just a title showing that the troop is ready night and day. Jadi ni karya oleh Rembrandt von Rijn. Karya ni cat minyak atas canvas ditaja oleh penaung ni yang suruh buatkan ni lah Captain Benning Franz Benning Koch tadi. Dia cuba menggambarkan pasukannya. Namanya Night Watch, tapi sebenarnya painting ni bila dikaji oleh pengkaji dia buat siang. Night Watch maksudnya dia seperti jaga malam, bersedia untuk berkhidmat siang dan malam. Tapi cahaya yang di sini ada cahaya waktu siang, cahaya matahari waktu siang. The group of figure was shown, spotlighted by a deal of a sharp sunlight, which is typical and dramatic theatrical lighting of Baroque painting, especially in the work of Rembrandt and Caravaggio. Jadi kalau kita tengok ada seperti spotlight, cahaya yang terang menyinari paintingnya. Ini adalah ciri utama catatan Baroque. Dia ada kesan cahaya theatrical, terutamanya pada karya Rembrandt dan juga Caravaggio. Jadi if you refer to the notes, Caravaggio pun dia ada karyanya, The Calling of Saint Matthew. This painting dated to 1642, showing the captain and the lieutenant on the foreground, and there's like a lady or woman in the middle ground behind the lieutenant. So the lady has got nothing to do with the troop. He's not a member of the soldier, but some historians say that he's like a mascot to the troop. Jadi painting ni menggambarkan Captain Franz Benning Koch dan lieutenantnya sebelah tu, latar depan, dan semua ahli-ahlinya di belakang. Ada gambar, dan di tengah-tengah tu ada gambar wanita. Wanita tu katakan bukannya pasukan tu, dia adalah sebagai mascot, like a cheer lady. Not all the troop member are shown in this painting. Tak semua ahli pasukan tu digambarkan. The painting is very good example of Baroque painting. Inilah contoh catatan Baroque yang deep intense color, dramatic light, and shows dramatic setting of a troop ready to defend the nation. Inilah contoh karya Baroque. Warna yang mendalam, kesan cahaya dramatik, dan juga settingnya satu drama. Pasukan tentera yang bersedia untuk bertugas untuk negara. Almost the same light effect can be seen in the work of Caravaggio. If you refer to the note, ada karya oleh Caravaggio bertitle The Calling of Saint Matthew, 1599 to 1600 AD. Please refer to the notes. Dramatic pose shown through the sculpture can be seen in the work of Bernini. Kalau kita rujuk pada Archer, posing yang dramatik dapat lihat pada karya Bernini bernama David. Still you can refer to notes and you can see this sculpture. Okay, so that's all for Baroque painting by Rembrandt. We'll do like video number 3. We'll be making a appreciation of the work of the Rococo entitled The Swing. So bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 6, part 3. Okay, we're still explaining the art of the 18th century. The work by John Honoré Fragonard, The Swing. The title is The Swing, 1766. One of the examples of Rococo painting. Fragonard lived between 1732 to 1806. In his oil painting, he, as we know, the characteristic of Rococo painting is that it doesn't show religious or patriotic scenes, but portray much of the aristocratic couple enjoying their leisure and leisure outing. Jadi ini karya oleh Fragonard yang hidup sekitar tahun 1733 1806. Karya cat minyak ini menggambarkan ciri Rococo, mana karya Rococo tidak melihatkan cerita keagamaan. Dia banyak menggambarkan pasangan aristokrat menghabiskan masa-masa mereka bersama pasangan mereka. Rococo also characterize the detail of the subject matter and bright colors. It is rather decorative sometimes. In this painting, a beautiful woman, well dressed or fully dressed, is in this on the swing, and her private in her private garden, assisted by his servant or assistant. Dan gambar ni wanita yang berpakaian lengkap, cantik, di atas buaian di dalam taman persendiriannya dan dibantu oleh dia punya hamba atau pembantunya. A male partner or his lover sneak into the garden and adorning the woman or his lover. Jadi satu orang lelaki, kekasih dia, masuk secara curi-curi ke tamannya. Di bahagian kiri paintingnya anda lihat dia sedang memuja kekasihnya yang di atas buai tadi. And we saw the sculpture of Cupid in the left and center. Ada arca Cupid. Cupid tu adalah yang macam budak kecil berkepak. Itu adalah sebenarnya dikatakan dewa yang memanah panah asmara. So Cupid ni pun macam terdiam tengok dua pasangan tengah mabuk cinta. So the Cupid on the left and center of the painting is blessing the act, menyetujui, merestui pasangannya. The woman is so engrossed with the swinging, tend to lose one of her shoe. Jadi dalam painting dia, wanita tu asyik di atas buai, dia lupa hingga kasutnya pun sebelah tercabut. Ini ada setengah pengkaji mengatakan simbol kejahatan ni, kalau bukan jahat, simbol macam orang yang tidak bersopan, nakal dalam bercinta. The detailing and the detailing of the tree and the bright color scheme are the hallmark of Rococo painting. Other Rococo painting in the notes you can see is by John Antoine Watteau. We have explained just now in the first video, and also in England there's a lot of work by Thomas Gainsborough. So you can refer to notes and see the same thing. They are like aristocratic or loving couple. Shown in the painting. This is the characteristic of Rococo art. So stay with me for part 4 and part 5. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is lecture number 6, part 4, ATH 435, art history and art and design history and theory. In this part 4, lecture number 6, we are now discussing the painting by Claude Monet. Entitled Impression Sunrise, 1872. Pada bahagian ini kita akan bincang karya Claude Monet daripada aliran Impressionism berjudul Impression Sunrise 1872. Monet lived between 1840 to 1925, was a French artist who is considered as the pioneer of Impressionism movement. Jadi Monet ni yang hidup sekitar tahun 1840 hingga 1925, dikatakan artis Perancis yang menjadi tunjang kepada atau pelupur kepada Impressionism, pergerakan Impressionism, 1870 to 1888. In this painting, he painted his impression of the Port Havre in Paris, dekat river Seine. Kalau kita pergi ke Paris, dia ada sungai utama nama Seine River. Not the realistic representation of the play. He was painting on site, experiencing the moment when the sun is rising, during dawn. Dia tidak melukis karya yang realistik, representasi tempat tu, tapi impression tu maksud apa yang dia fikir tentang tempat tu. What is his impression? Waktu namanya impressionism. Dan dia berada di tapak tempat tu, bukan dia melukis dalam sudut. Dia berada di pelabuhan tu, hinggalah matahari tu matahari tu daripada tak nampak sampai di waktu fajar matahari tu timbul, terbit. In the foreground there are two boats, and many others shown in the silhouette of the background. Bahagian depan tu ada gambar dua bot, dan bahagian belakang tu adalah banyak digambarkan secara bayangan. So he tried to capture the effect of the changing light. Dia cuba merakam pergerakan cahaya yang bertukar-tukar di waktu nak fajar. So this is the characteristic of Impressionism. They are trying to capture the light, the changing light effect. Inilah ciri Impressionism, mereka cuba mengkaji, merakam perubahan cahaya. The name Impressionism was coined by Lee Leroy, art critic. Bila dia pergi pameran tu, dia tengok karya Monet tu macam karya tak siap. Dia cakap ni apa? Dia orang cakap ini my impression is not the representation. Jadi dia cakap kalau ginilah ini karya tak siap. Karya ni hodoh. So I call it Impressionism. That's why they got this name Impressionism, because it is their impression, not the representation of the place. So Monet made an impression of the seascape, not the representation, not the real representation of the place. Many commented it as low skill and unfinished. Banyaklah orang-orang yang datang ke pameran yang pertama. Pameran pertama Impressionism ni diadakan pada tahun 1874. 2 years after he made this painting, there was like a show, independent show by the Impressionist painter. So this painting was shown in the exhibition, and people commented, ini karya tak habis, ini karya yang berkemahiran. But later on, Impressionism became one of the most important, a very important movement of the 19th century, and to the 20th century is even still popular. So stay with me for part 5. We're going to discuss the work by Vincent van Gogh from the post-impressionist movement. Okay, bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 6. It is 435. Art and Design History and Theory, part 5. So this is the last part for lecture number 6. Okay, we are now discussing the very important work of a very important artist called Vincent William van Gogh. He's a Dutch artist. He was a Dutch artist. Pelukis Belanda. Kalau dalam Belanda kita panggil Van Gogh. Tapi bahasa Inggeris Vincent William van Gogh. Lived between 1853 to 1890. Umur ni mati muda. 1853 hingga 1890. He lived not that long, but produced at least 900 painting and 1000 drawing. Umurnya tak begitu panjang, tapi sekurang-kurangnya 900 catatan terhasilkan dan 1000 karya lukisan. He was the hallmark of the post-impressionism. Dialah orang yang dikatakan sebagai simbol kepada post-impressionism. Post-Impressionism are the style of painting categorized by the art critic Roger Fry as the work of art after the Impressionism. Jadi pergerakan Post-Impressionism adalah style yang diberikan oleh pengkritik bernama Roger Fry, iaitu semua karya atau gaya selepas Impressionism tu dibagi nama Post-Impressionism, termasuklah karya oleh Joshua, karya oleh Cezanne dan juga hasilnya karya oleh Vincent van Gogh. So in this work, Starry Night, yang dekat skrin ni bahagian bawah tu, Starry Night 1889, Van Gogh made a very disturbing and expressive brushstroke showing a night sky to represent his emotionally disturbed and to show his emotionally disturbed mind. Jadi dalam karya ni bertajuk Starry Night, malam berbintang, 1889, Van Gogh cuba memperlihatkan keadaan malam yang begitu mengganggu dan ekspresif, melalui sapuan yang ekspresif, menunjukkan malam yang mewakili mindanya yang begitu terganggu dari segi emosi. He was treated in a mental hospital, and this painting was his view to the night of the night sky and also the landscape from his room. Jadi karya ni adalah pandangan dia keluar daripada bilik dia, mana dia dikurung, dan malam dan juga lanskap yang ada. Sebenarnya karya ni ada sejarah mengatakan lanskap tu ditambah-tambah, bukanlah yang mana dilihat. Tapi kalau nak katakan bukan lanskap yang dilihat pun tak betul. It's landscape what he saw from his room, but there's some addition and subtraction. The cypress tree is a symbol of death or suffering. Ada gambar sebelah kiri tu pokok cypress. Banyak ahli sejarah mengatakan dia sebagai simbol kematian dan penderitaan. In the center, in the middle ground, we can see an image of a chapel, symbolizing his sign of surrender to God's will, or religious awareness, as he was very sick at that time before he committed suicide. Jadi di bahagian tengah tu ada gambar, ada image seperti chapel. Chapel ni adalah gereja kecil, sebagai simbol dia penyerahan diri dia pada Tuhan. Dia pun tahu dia dah sakit, ataupun dikatakan dia macam keinsafan sebelum dia bunuh diri. The cold blue night sky also tell us about a lonely and estranged Van Gogh, suffering from unfavorable condition of the artist of that time. Jadi warna biru yang dikatakan icy blue, warna biru yang seakan-akan ais yang sejuk, menggambarkan penderitaan kesunyian seorang pelukis. Dan sapuan berus tu menunjukkan keresahan satu orang pelukis dalam keadaan yang ketika tu orang pun tak suka pada pelukis, tak memahami jiwa pelukis, anggap pelukis macam orang gila, maka dia menderita dan akhirnya dia mati. This work by Van Gogh using bright colours, expressive brushstroke, can also be seen in the artwork at the top of the slide. Juga kita boleh tengok keadaan ni, sapuan berus yang begitu kasar, ekspresif, dan juga warna yang begitu terang ada pada karya di atas, yang karya di atas dalam slide ni bahagian atas. Dan juga kita tengok malam yang digambarkan berbintang, dan bintang itu bercahaya, cahaya yang terang, menyinari seperti satu cahaya spiritual dikatakan. Painting yang di atas bernama The Cafe Terrace on the Place of Du Forum at Night 1888, sebelum karya Starry Night lagi. Jadi kalau kita pergi ke Bandar Paris, kita pergi tengok karya yang asal dekat Van Gogh Museum, kita boleh tengok karya ni dengan sapuan berus ni yang begitu kasar, warna yang begitu terang, begitu menjadi ilham kepada pelukis moden. They become an insightful and inspirational work for the 20th century art, especially the Fauvism and Expressionism. So stay safe, stay home if you don't have anything else, no important thing to do outside. So keep it at your home and observe the PKP SOP, and we'll meet again in lecture number 7 and number 8. So bye for now. Take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For next week study, lecture on modern art, 20th century art. Bye for now. Wassalam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 7, ATH435, Art and Design History and Theory. We are now discussing the modern art or 20th century art. But firstly, we have to discuss what are the characteristics of the 20th century art or modern art. The first character is rejection of tradition, reality, popular culture, dehumanization, ideas and chance, iconoclastic, non-objective, homogeneity, and public art. You can refer to the notes, okay? There are hundreds and thousands of art movements in the 20th century, but we are now going to discuss 8 main art movements that are Fauvism, started in 1905, Expressionism, 1905 as well, Cubism, 1907, Futurism, 1910, Dadaism, 1915, Surrealism, 1920s, Abstract Expressionism, 1940, and lastly Pop Art, 1950s. So first movement that we're going to discuss is called Fauvism. It is called Fauvism, in French it means wild beast, binatang buas, because of the use of color. It's not naturalistic, blatant color direct from the tube, and wild brush strokes. According to Henry Matisse, the function of color in Fauvism is to show emotional force and feelings. The most of the painting have painterly qualities, pure deep color, exaggerated perspective. On the screen now is a painting by Henry Matisse. On the top, at the top is a painting by Henry Matisse called The Red Room, 1908 to 1909. It's all on canvas. The colors are bright and unnaturalistic. Flat space, every object seems to be hanging. A contrast of a red room with a green window. The painting below is by Henri Derain. It's called Portrait of Matisse. In this painting, the brushstrokes are very painterly, with bright, spontaneous colors. Other Fauvism artists are like Maurice Fleming, and the founder of the Fauvism is called Gustave Moreau. So that's all for Fauvism. Please refer to the notes. Jadi hari ini kita bincang tentang satu aliran yang pertama, iaitu Fauvism. Fauvism ni dalam bahasa Perancis binatang buas, kerana warnanya begitu garang, tidak natural, sapuannya yang begitu liar, dan warnanya begitu spontan, mendalam. Kalau terlihat pada skrin di bahagian atas tu karya oleh Henry Matisse berjudul Red Room, 1908 sampai 1909. Warna begitu kontras antara merah dan juga hijau, dan objeknya tiada ruang, itu seolah tergantung, dan warnanya dibuat secara rambang, begitu spontan, dan di bahagian bawah tu adalah portret Henry Matisse oleh Henri Derain, seorang pelukis Perancis. Fauvism ni ditubuhkan di Paris, juga kesan sapuan berusnya begitu kasar dan warnanya begitu spontan. Pelukis lain ada dalam aliran ni ialah Maurice Fleming dan juga pengasas Fauvism iaitu Gustave Moreau. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita akan pergi ke recording kita yang kedua, iaitu aliran Expressionism. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 7, part 2. We are now discussing the art movement called Expressionism, one of the movements of the 20th century art. So Expressionism started in Germany in 1905. It is an extension of the brushstroke of the very wild and spontaneous brushstroke of the Fauvism, but with the emphasis of inner expression. psychical, mental, and social analysis of with distortion and exaggeration of the form for emotional effect. So jadi hari ni kita bicarakan tentang expressionism. Expressionism ni di Jerman 1905 masih menggunakan teknik Fauvism, iaitu spontan dan sapuan yang keras, yang kasar. Tetapi bezanya ialah expressionism menekankan tentang perasaan dalaman, ekspresi dalaman, ekspresi daripada psychic, mental and social analysis, ansa mental, minda, dan juga ansa sosial, dan juga mengdistort, mengherut-petutkan bentuk untuk menghasilkan kesan emosional. Very expressive brushstroke. The formation of form was a legitimate means of expression. Iaitu kesan brush yang sangat ekspresif, dan bentuk yang diubah tu secara terbaik untuk menghasilkan ekspresi. Artists in this under this movement like Ludwig Kirchner, Vasily Kandinsky, Franz Marc, Emil Knoll, and Oskar Kokoschka. So on the screen now is the painting by Emil Knoll. It's called Mars Still Life, number 3. 1911, all on canvas. The masks were actually a representation of or expression of the artist, of the drama of the human life. So it shows the mask in different character, with different character and from different culture. It's very disturbing. It's like a character of a drama. So it shows the inner expression of the artist, the inner feeling of our life is like a drama, So it composed of so many character and so many situation. Jadi hari ni kita tengok pada skrin ni karya oleh Emil Knoll. Judul apa, Alam Benda Topeng, nombor 3, cat minyak atas kanvas. Pada catatan ni kita tengok apa bentuk-bentuk topeng dengan ekspresi muka seperti satu drama kehidupan. Jadi dia menyatakan tentang apa kehidupan yang penuh dengan sebagai ekspresi dan ragam, ketawa, sedih, gembira, gelak dan sebagainya. So painting at the bottom of the screen is by Ludwig Kirchner, entitled Berlin Street Scene, iaitu adegan apa jalanan di Berlin. So in this painting it shows the urban life, where the man and the woman is mingling, having a night out. Some historians say that it is the women are like GRO, like social escort, or like prostitute, and the two males, and the males are like all the client to this what you call GRO, or what you call prostitute. Jadi yang bawah tu adalah painting oleh Kirchner, iaitu tentang kehidupan di bandar di Berlin, mengisahkan gambar perempuan yang begitu berhias, menghadapi beberapa orang lelaki yang berada di latar depan tu, seperti mereka adalah pelanggan tetap. Perempuan tu seperti GRO ataupun pelacur. Jadi ada juga jawapan mengatakan bukan dia menyatakan komentar pelacur. He's trying to tell this is like a new way of life. Freedom of sex, freedom of a new era of. Jadi ada juga sejarawan yang mengatakan dia memberikan satu ekspresi tentang kehidupan baru di kota. So stay for the next video. We're gonna discuss part 3. We're gonna discuss about cubism, if I'm not mistaken. Cubism. Okay, so bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 7, part 3. We are now discussing the art movement called Cubism. So Cubism started in Paris between 1907 to 1914 by two prominent artists, the founding artists Pablo Picasso and George Braque. Mainly, there are two main phases of Cubism: analytic Cubism and synthetic Cubism. It started with analytic Cubism, then it turns to synthetic Cubism. Hari ini kita akan bicarakan tentang apa? Pada video ketiga ni kita bicarakan tentang apa? Aliran Cubism yang diasaskan oleh Picasso dan juga Braque antara tahun 1907 dan 1914. Jadi Cubism ni ada dua fasa. Fasa pertama dipanggil analytic Cubism, yang fasa kedua dipanggil synthetic Cubism. The term Cubism coined by Louis Vauxhall after viewing the work by George Braque, where he saw lots of little cube, which made him to use the term little cubes. That's why it's called Cubism. Cubism involves the fragmentation of form to show multiple viewpoints of an object on a flat 2D painting space. Fragmentation of form into geometric scheme of form, somber color, and flat space. At the second phase of Cubism, which is called synthetic Cubism, the artist introduced papier collage atau collage. That is pieces of paper or other element from the real world being integrated into the work of art. Jadi karya-karya Cubism ni, nama Cubism tu diberi oleh pengkritik nama Louis Vauxhall. Setelah dia melihat karya Braque tu, dia cakap karya ni penuh dengan bentukan empat persegi kecil-kecil, cube. Maka dia bagi nama Cubism. Okay? So Cubism menekankan pecahan bentuk, iaitu satu objek tu dipecahkan dan cuba diletak semula di atas permukaan 2D, di atas catatan. Jadi pecahan bentuk ni kepada bentuk geometrik. Warnanya adalah begitu suram, ruangnya adalah mendata, dan pada fasa yang kedua dipanggil synthetic Cubism, dia telah menggunakan collage, tampalan daripada daripada dunia luar. Dia ambil benda daripada objek tampalan sebenar, ditampalkan atas catatan. Ini dipanggil collage. On the screen now is the work at the top is the work by Picasso called Portrait of Daniel Henry Canwiller, 1910, all on canvas. In this painting, the head and bust of Canwiller is fragmented to geometrical form, almost abstracted, with few suggested possible representation of the subject matter. The color scheme is not important in this case. It's a flat and somber color. This is a good example of analytical Cubism by Picasso. If you refer to the notes, you can find example of synthetic Cubism by Braque, for example, like the painting entitled Fruit Dish and Glass, 1912, where he introduced the technique of papier collage or collage. Jadi di atas skrin sekarang ialah catatan oleh Picasso bertajuk Portrait of Daniel Henry Canwiller. Canwiller ni salah seorang promoter atau seorang yang jual karya seni. Jadi dia lukis Canwiller sebagai model dia. Tapi kita tengok portrait Canwiller tu dipecahkan kepada bentuk geometrik yang mana kita fragmentation tu begitu dahsyat sekali, kita tak boleh mengenal pun. Hanya melalui beberapa saranan yang menampakkan mata, kepala dan badannya. Jadi color scheme di sini tak penting. Warnanya adalah begitu suram. Yang penting adalah pecahan bentuk tu. Jadi kita boleh lihat macam mana bentuk 3D tu cuba nak ditunjukkan dari pelbagai sudut atas permukaan catatan 2D. So stay with me for part number 4. We're going to discuss another art movement called Futurism. Okay, so bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So this is lecture number 7, 88435, Art and Design History and Theory, part 4. We are now discussing the 20th century art movement called Futurism. Ini adalah bahagian keempat kita bicarakan tentang Futurism. Futurism was established in Italy between 1907 to 1944. It has got a manifesto written by the futurist artist called Filippo Tommaso Marinetti in 1909. And the manifesto later published in the French newspaper La Figaro in the same year. Futurism Futurism was a celebration of the machine age, speed, violence, glorifying war, expressing movement of natural and man-made form. Futurism ni dia telah diasaskan di Itali 1907 dan kemudiannya hingga tahun 44. Ia mempunyai manifesto yang ditulis oleh pelukisnya bernama Filippo Tommaso Marinetti. Filippo Tommaso Marinetti pada tahun 1909 yang kemudiannya diterbitkan dalam satu akhbar bahasa Perancis berjudul La Figaro. Futurism ni dia meraihkan kegemilangan zaman mesin, kelajuan, pergerakan, mengagungkan peperangan, keganasan, ekspresi pergerakan daripada bentuk semula jadi atau bentuk buatan manusia. Artis include Marinetti, Giacomo Balla, Umberto Bosconi, Carlo Carrà, Gino Severini. Futurism is portraying the idea of modernization and cultural revival of Italy. Fragmentation of form, but like the Cubism, but to show movement with brighter colors and as compared to Cubism. Jadi Cubism ni pelukis utamanya seperti Marinetti, Giacomo Balla, Umberto Bosconi, Carlo Carrà dan Gino Severini. Futurism ni seperti cuba menggambarkan idea pemodenan Itali, kelahiran semula budaya Itali, dan bentuk-bentuk yang dipecahkan, fragmentation, untuk menunjukkan pergerakan dan dynamism, tetapi warnanya lebih terang daripada Cubism, dan juga kalau kita bandingkan Cubism tu warnanya ala suram. On the screen now, at the top is a painting called The Funeral of Anarchist Galli in 1911, all on canvas. It depicts a fight between the police force and the supporter of anarchist Galli. Recorded here is the movement of the police riding on horseback, attacking the protester and supporter of anarchist Galli. Jadi dekat skrin sekarang bahagian atas tu catatan berjudul perkemumian anarki Galli. Anarki maksudnya orang menentang monarki, menentang keluarga diraja. Kerana ini pada tahun 1911 dia menggambarkan polis yang bertempur dengan penyokong Galli. Galli ni satu anarki telah mati dibunuh. Jadi penyokong dia di hari pengkemumiannya membuat rusuhan. Maka polis telah menentang mereka atau menghalang mereka. Maka berlakulah pertempuran tu. Jadi kalau Carrà dalam keadaan ni cuba nak merakam pergerakan dan juga keganasan yang berlaku tu. The repetition of and fragmented form were used to record the event that took place. Jadi bentuk-bentuk yang berulang itu cuba untuk merakam peristiwa yang berlaku. At the bottom is a painting by Giacomo Balla called Dynamism of a Dog on a Leash, 1912. No bright colors, but the movement of the dog and the owner seems to be so dynamic, and at the center of Balla's concern in this painting. Another important painting by Giacomo Balla, another important artwork by Giacomo Balla is the sculpture in 1913 called Unique Form of Continuity in Space. You can refer to the notes, okay? So jadi dalam karya yang di bawah tu, itu adalah karya Giacomo Balla, iaitu dinamisme anjing yang dan seekor anjing yang dipegang talinya. yang mana menggambarkan pergerakan dan kaki dan juga tuan punya anjing. Warna tak penting, yang penting adalah bentuk perulangan menggambarkan pergerakan tuan anjing dan juga anjing tersebut. Jadi kalau kita pergi kepada karya Arca oleh Bosoni, bukan Bala, tadi saya silap. Kalau tengok pada nota ada satu Arca oleh Bosoni, iaitu Unique Form of Continuity in Space 1913. You can refer to notes. Ini karya oleh Bosoni, bukan oleh Bala, sorry. So stay with me for the part number 5. We're gonna discuss about surrealism, okay? We're going to discuss about Dadaism, not surrealism. Dadaism, then only surrealism. Okay, bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is lecture number 7, part 5. We are now discussing an art movement called Dadaism. One of the modern art movement of the 20th century. Dadaism came from the word Dada, which the group of artists picked purposely to be meaningless, to show their protest against the war and against the class of bourgeois. Dadaists were a group of artists gathered at the Cabaret Voltaire in Zurich, Switzerland during the First World War. They created anti-art kind of work and promote a philosophy called nihilism, which means life without a purpose and meaning. The idea of Dada is to spread. The idea of Dada then spread to Germany, France, and so to in America. Jadi pada video ni kita akan bincang aliran nama Dadaism. Dadaism datang dari perkataan dada yang memang sengaja dipilih untuk tidak membawa makna. Walaupun ada sejarah mengatakan dia bermakna kuda mainan tunggangan budak, ataupun dada tu maksud dalam bahasa Romania maksud yes. Tapi memang sengaja dipilih perkataan yang begitu dangkal kerana mereka nak tunjukkan protes. Mereka adalah sekumpulan pelukis yang berkumpul di satu cabaret, satu kelab malam bernama Cabaret Voltaire di Zurich, Switzerland. Switzerland ketika itu Perang Dunia Pertama, negara yang neutral, tak ada perang. Dan mereka berkumpul dan mereka membuat aktiviti anti-art. Mereka menghasilkan karya yang menentang seni, seolah orang tak belajar seni. Dan mereka berpegang pada falsafah nihilism, yang pernah dikatakan oleh ahli falsafah Jerman bernama Friedrich Nietzsche, yang mengatakan hidup tanpa makna, tanpa ada tujuan. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody is telling the right way, kononnya. Kemudiannya fahaman dada ni berkembang ke Jerman, Perancis dan Amerika. Artis like Kurt Schwitter, Bill, what you call Merzbach, an assemblage within his room. The artist Marcel Duchamp came up with ready-made object, and artists like Hannah Koch and Raoul Haussmann created what you call photo montage. But the purpose of making all this artwork is to make fun of the seriousness of art, challenging the limits and the definition of art. But in a way they are very experimental and very bold in their expression. Jadi pelukis-pelukis dada ni seperti Marcel Duchamp, dia menghasilkan ready-made object. Kurt Schwitter menghasilkan Merzbach, satu karya assemblage, longgokan barang-barang seperti collage, barang jumpaan, penuh bilik dia. Hannah Koch dan juga Raoul Haussmann menghasilkan foto montage, teknik foto montage. Dia tampalkan foto tu, dia shoot balik hingga menghasilkan karya. Semua karya ni cuba mempermainkan keseriusan seni, mencabar definisi dan limitasi seni. Tapi mereka sangat eksperimental dan sangat berani. On the screen now, at the top is the ready-made by the French artist Marcel Duchamp, with his famous porcelain uriner. He signed it with somebody else's name, Richard Mott. Some historians say that's the name of the manufacturing company of the urinal. And he claimed that this is a work of art. In 1917, in one of the show, it's called Armory Show in America, and it was rejected from the Armory Show. The work was like placed behind the screen. Then the art critic were so much moved by this gesture. So the critic says, why do we have to take this work away from the exhibition? Duchamp is creating a new thought for the object. So ini karya, kalau dia bahagian atas tu karya iaitu kita pun tahu, iaitu porcelain, tempat buang air kecil, yang mana masa Duchamp telah katakan ni karya ready-made. Dia ambil, dia letak nama Armat, bukan nama dia. Armat tu dikatakan nama syarikat pengeluar porcelain urinal tu. Dan dia kata ni karya seni, maka karya telah dicampak keluar daripada pameran pada 1917. Maka dia sengaja buat tindakan ni sebagai satu karya anti-art, menentang seni. Dan pengkritik seni telah kata kenapa karya ni dikeluarkan dari pameran, sedangkan Duchamp telah membuat satu idea yang bagus, iaitu dia telah mencipta satu idea yang baru daripada benda kegunaan harian kepada karya seni. Begitulah ceritanya. So at the bottom is the Mersbau, installation of a found object by Kurt Schwitter in 1933. Mersbau. He filled up 7 of his room with all assemblage of found object. It's like a 3D collage, and he created like a internal environment of a collage, a true living space in a very unconventional way. So this is one of the gestures of the Dadaist as well. What you call a Dadaist gesture. Jadi bahagian bawah ni kalau kita tengok adalah karya Kurt Schwitter, Mersbau. Mersbau ni adalah diambil objek jumpaan, dia letak tampal. Jadi seperti satu seni bina dalaman interior yang daripada benda jumpaan. Ini juga satu statement yang pelik yang dibuat oleh Dada. So stay with me for the next video. So we're gonna talk about surrealism in video number 6. So bye for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is lecture number 7, part 6. ATH 435, Art and Design History and Theory. We are now discussing one of the 20th century art movement called surrealism. Surrealism is about the subconscious and subconscious images and pure psychic approach of uniting the conscious and unconscious reality in a world of dream and fantasy. There are 3 main approaches of surrealism. The first one is realistic, irrational, dreamlike fantasy, like the work of Salvador Dali and Giorgio di Chirico. The second approach is towards abstraction and childlike images, like the work of John Miro. And thirdly, automatic drawing, like the work by Henri Masson. All the example can be found in your notes. Okay. Hari ini nak bincang tentang satu aliran bernama surrealism. Surrealism ni ialah aliran tentang alam bawah sedar. Bagaimana kita nak menyatukan alam sedar dan bawah sedar secara psychic, iaitu bagaimana nak menghasilkan satu realiti dan dunia yang mimpi dan fantasi. Ada 3 pendekatan yang digunakan oleh pelukis surrealism. Pertama, pendekatan yang realistik, tidak rasional, seakan-akan mimpi dan fantasi, seperti karya Salvador Dali dan juga karya Giorgio di Chirico. Kedua, pendekatan ke arah abstraksi dan juga seakan lukisan kanak-kanak, seperti karya oleh John Miro. Dan ketiga adalah automatic drawing, lukisan automatik seperti yang digambarkan oleh Henri Masson. Semua ini dapat anda lihat nota anda. So on the screen now, the work by Salvador Dali. At the top, at the top on the screen, the work by Salvador Dali called The Precision of Memory. Persistence of Memory, 1931. It shows some kind of realistic, eerie, fantasy and dream kind of landscape with rotten tree on its branch hanging the melting clock. And again melting clock on the table with lots of ants actually on it. And on the ground as well, there's a very strange creature with a human eyelid sleeping with the melting clock over his body. So we can conclude this memory from a fantasy kind of thing. Okay. So ada pendekatan, ada 3 pendekatan yang diambil oleh pelukis surrealis. Pertama, pendekatan secara realistik dan juga irasional. Imej alam fantasi alam mimpi seperti karya Salvador Dali dan juga di Chirico. Kedua, pendekatan seperti abstraksi dan juga seperti lukisan kanak-kanak yang diambil oleh John Miro. Dan yang ketiga, pendekatan automatic drawing seperti yang dihasilkan oleh Henri Masson. Semua ni ada nota anda. Okay? Di atas skrin sekarang anda boleh lihat bahagian atas karya oleh Salvador Dali berjudul Persistence of Memory. Memori yang berkekalan, yang berlarutan, Perlambat 31. Dia memperlihatkan satu lanskap yang real, menakutkan, fantasi seakan alam mimpi, di mana pokok yang reput tu ada hanya jam yang cair, tergantung di atas meja lagi, jam yang cair dengan semut yang berkerumun, dan juga jam yang cair lagi atas satu makhluk yang pelik yang menggunakan alis mata manusia, juga terbaring atas tanah itu. Dan kita boleh menyimpulkanlah satu lanskap alam mimpi, fantasi yang sering hadir dalam fikiran pelukis. At the bottom is another melancholic scene by Giorgio di Chirico, the Red Tower. Jadi this is also another dreamlike fantasy. Deserted building and Red Tower, which approaching a silhouette of a horse on the right. Put the viewer in a puzzling and questioning mode. So what's next? Jadi pada karya ni berjudul The Red Tower, menara merah, ada gambar menara dan juga gambar bangunan ditinggalkan sunyi. Dan sebelah kanan tu macam ada siluet, bayangan kuda yang sangat besar sedang macam nak mendatangi tempat ni. Jadi dia meninggalkan pemerhati dengan soalan apa yang akan berlaku seterusnya. So itulah that's what surrealism is all about. Okay, so stay with me for part number 7 and number 8. So we're gonna do what you call abstract expressionist art and also pop art. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam. So now we have come to the last part, the final part of lecture number 7. The movement is called pop art. Okay, pop means popular culture. So art from the popular culture. These are the important characteristic of modern art. This is one of the most important characteristic of modern art. That is art to be based on popular culture and not high culture. High culture used to be in the classical art. So one of the hallmark of modern art is that people are concentrating on popular culture. Pop art started in Britain with works of Richard Hamilton, but later on it was very much popularized in America. Right after the end of the at the end of the abstract expressionism influence, or after the Second World War. Themes of pop art, or the themes of pop art are from movies and advertising, from food, comic strip, industrial and household product. Pop art is sometimes called neo-dada because like Dadaism, it presents ordinary, everyday, popular item or personality to be the subject matter of art. Jadi hari ni pada video ni kita nak bincang tentang seni pop, pop art. Pop tu datang dari perkataan popular. Pop art tu seni daripada budaya popular culture. So art from popular culture. This is inilah salah satu karakter seni moden, iaitu budaya popular menjadi sanjungan berbanding dengan seni klasikal yang menyanjung budaya tinggi. Seni pop ni terkenal di Britain, kemudiannya sangat-sangat famous di Amerika. Selepas kelunturan pengaruh abstract expressionism selepas Perang Dunia yang Kedua around the 60s. Tema-tema pop art atau seni pop adalah daripada filem dan juga pengiklanan, makanan, iaitu daripada comic strip, daripada komik, produk industrial dan juga produk domestik. Seni pop juga kadang-kadang dipanggil seni neo dada, kerana seperti pelukis dada macam Marcel Duchamp tu, dia ambil benda-benda harian. Pop art gitu juga, objek yang popular dan juga harian, personality yang biasa kita lihat tu digambarkan sebagai subjek kajian dan seni. Somewhat similar to the idea of Marcel Duchamp, some of the popular artists like Andy Warhol, dia promotes images of like Marilyn Monroe from the movies, and also consumer product like Coca-Cola and also Campbell soup can. On the screen now is at the top is the soft sculpture by Claes Oldenburg entitled Floor Cake, 1962. He made gigantic cake piece to be exhibited in a surprising new encounter with the object. Fun, exciting and experimental art. Jadi ideanya seperti idea Duchamp, iaitu menggunakan benda yang seharian orang nampak. Ini dapat lihat pada karya Andy Warhol. Kalau dah lihat pada nota, dia menggunakan image daripada movie, misalnya image Marilyn Monroe yang ketika itu sangat terkenal sebagai model, American punya American doll, model, dan juga produk daripada pengguna seperti Coke dan juga Campbell soup. Di screen sekarang pada bahagian atas lah karya arca atau soft sculpture, arca lembut oleh Claes Oldenburg berjudul Floor Cake, kek lantai. So dia menghasilkan karya kek bersaiz raksasa ni untuk dipamerkan di atas lantai. Jadi kita akan terkejut dalam penemuan kita berhadapan dengan karya objek harian ni dah sebesar tu, dan kita punya jarak estetik menjadi lain bila kita bertemu dengan objek ni. Begitu menyeronokkan, menarik dan juga eksperimental. At the bottom is the 3D public sculpture, derived from a Christmas card, also designed by Robert Indiana, Christmas card with the letter LOV, love. So this Christmas card was later turned into a 3D sculpture, and being shown, being put as an what you call public, as a public sculpture. Then later on only it being under the it was like a collection of the museum, but before that it was put on the street of New York City. Jadi kalau kita lihat yang di bawah tu adalah arca 3 dimensi yang asalnya daripada kad Christmas, yang dari perkataan LOV, love. Jadi daripada love tu, daripada bentuk kad dijadikan bentuk arca. Dan arca ni memang dijadikan public sculpture di jalanan di New York. Kemudian baru diletakkan di bawah jagaan what you call museum. Jadi pengaruh karya ni begitu penting. Sampai hari ni pun kita tengok banyak bandar-bandar pekan dan kota menggunakan arca berbentuk tulisan. Jadi pengaruhnya daripada zaman pop art hingga lagi ni. So student, please, this is our second last lecture. So our last lecture will be lecture number 8 on postmodern, contemporary and Malaysian art. That will be after the semester break. So next week is going to be semester break, mid-semester break. So after semester break we'll have lecture number 8, the final lecture. Then after that you will be handled by a lecturer called Radin Eros. He will be giving lecture on history of design. Okay. Then he will handle the test and also the 60% test for my lecture. Okay. So anyway, I'll brief you in next week about the lecture in design, also about the test and everything. So don't worry. So stay safe, stay home, take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is lecture number 8, 8H435. This is our final lecture for this course, for this semester. We are going to discuss two important art movement. Firstly is the postmodernism, and secondly is the modern Malaysian art. So if we go direct to postmodernism, postmodernism came after modernism, okay? After modernism in the 70s, then you have postmodernism. After the popularity of abstract expressionism has gone down, then people start turning to the idea of the postmodernism. So if you look on the screen now, postmodernism is divided into two parts, the constructive postmodernism and so the deconstructive postmodernism. Constructive postmodernism does not reject modernism, but it is a desire to a pre-modern notion of divinely wrought reality or cosmic meaning and enchanted nature. It is also called New Age thinking. They want to achieve what they call a unity of science, ethical, aesthetic, and also religion, and also intuition. Okay. Deconstructive postmodernism is an effort to eliminate worldview based on God, self-purpose, meaning a real world and truth. So nihilism in nature. So in deconstructive postmodernism, all values are baseless. That nothing is noble and life itself is meaningless. This kind of philosophy was championed by scholar like Nietzsche, Derrida and Heidegger. So hari ini kita bincangkan tentang kuliah kita yang terakhir, iaitu postmodernism dan juga seni moden Malaysia. So postmodernism ni jadi begitu popular selepas turunnya popularity abstract expressionism. Okay. So postmodernism ni dapat dibahagikan kepada dua, satu konstruktif, satu dekonstruktif. Okay. So konstruktif postmodernism dia nak kembali kepada zaman sebelum moden, makna-makna kosmik, alam yang begitu mengkagumkan, dan juga nak menyatukan antara saintifik, etika, estetik dan juga intuisi keagamaan. Kadang-kadang disebut sebagai New Age thinking. Deconstructive postmodernism dia cuba nak membuang nilai-nilai yang penting dalam hidup, misalnya kepercayaan pada Tuhan, makna hidup, kepercayaan diri, dunia sebenarnya, kebenaran pun nak ditolak. Maksudnya kebenaran tu pun dia tak percaya ada satu kebenaran. Dia mesti ada banyak cara melihat kebenaran. Dan nihilistik atau nihilism adalah dia punya falsafah utama, iaitu hidup ini tak perlu nak ada makna dan kita pun tak ada benda yang kita tahu dengan tepat. Ini dipelopori oleh ahli falsafah seperti Nietzsche, Jack Derrida dan juga Heidegger. As a whole, in postmodernism, the whole idea is to eradicate between art, popular culture, and the media. They encourage mix of ideas, media, and to form parody, humor, and irony. Jadi mereka nak menghapuskan perbezaan antara seni yang halus dan juga seni yang lain. Untuk mencipta satu bahan karya seni yang boleh mencabar, kadang-kadang mempermainkan dan juga sebagai sindiran pada seni itu sendiri. The idea of postmodernism started with a ready-made object by Duchamp. The Dadaist ready-made object, remember, the urinal, and also he took ordinary article of life and declared as a work of art. And later on, the pop artists they did the same as well. They took popular culture as their subject matter for the painting, like the painting by Warhol, what they call Marilyn Monroe. Okay, so sometimes the subject is just from a normal everyday life, from the movie, from a consumer product, and from everyday life. Okay. Now we will discuss the work of the Jean-Michel Basquiat, who is a postmodernist artist, or sometimes it's called neo-expressive artist. But we will discuss in detail the work of Jean-Michel Basquiat in the second video. So stay with me for the second video. We'll discuss about what you call Jean-Michel Basquiat. So then after the work of the postmodernists, we have the idea of neo-expressionism, shown by the work of Julian Schnabel, video art by what you call the Korean artist Nam June Paik. So you can refer to the notes, and the widespread of what you call happening and performing arts, digital art and so graffiti art. So please refer to the notes, okay? So the last part of the lecture is on Malaysian art, Malaysian modern art. Jadi sebelum tu kita kembali pada kita punya tajuk tadi, iaitu dalam postmodernism ni dimulakan oleh Duchamp. Idea dia tentang ready-made tu, bagaimana dia ambil satu mangkuk untuk orang buang air kecil tu dikatakan sebagai fountain, karya berjudul Pancuran. Jadi dia orang pertama yang mencabar definisi seni, mengambil benda yang bukan seni sebagai seni. Dia sebagai pemula dikatakan dalam aksi postmodernis. Dan kemudiannya pelukis-pelukis popular culture, pop art, mereka juga mengambil imajan daripada bintang filem dan juga harian barangan pengguna sebagai dia punya subject, misalnya oleh Warhol, Turkish Marilyn, pelakon Marilyn Monroe tu jadikan subjek matter. Dan kemudiannya kita tahu dia ada pelukis-pelukis neo-expressionist, jika anda refer nota tu, seperti Julian Schnabel, dan juga pelukis seperti Rosenberg, yang juga menggunakan objek jumpaan tapi diwarnakan. Julian Schnabel, dan juga kita akan jumpa karya-karya happening, dan seni persembahan, seni digital dan juga seni graffiti, yang mana nanti bila kita discuss tentang karya Jean-Michel Basquiat, kita akan cerita tentang graffiti juga. So the last part of the lecture is on modern Malaysian art. It started in 1930s with Penang Chinese Art Club. In 1936, Penang Teacher Art Council and Penang Impressionist, with artists like Abdul Arif and Yong Mansir. Nanyang School of Fine Art was established in Singapore in 1938, presenting a combination of Chinese and Western influence in the work like Zhong Xiuping, Tropical Life 1959. The climax of modern Malaysian art was the formation of what we call Valencia Art Group in 1952 by Peter Harris. We have a lot of artists like Samad Jamal, Chong Lai Tong, Ate Muhyiddin, Yeo Jin Leng, and they were later on become like the contemporary artists, the first generation of contemporary artists after the independence. So I'll discuss about the painting by Samad Jamal and his role as the father of modern Malaysian art. Bahagian terakhir daripada lecture ni ialah kita akan bincang tentang seni moden Malaysia yang bermula 30-an di Penang, kemudiannya di Singapura, Nanyang School of Fine Art, yang mana di Penang tu banyak karya cat air, gaya Cina dan juga gaya Inggeris. Kemudian Nanyang School of Fine Art ditubuhkan di Singapura masa tu sebahagian Malaysia pada tahun 1938. Kombinasi seni Cina dan juga seni Parisian atau gaya Paris, seperti karya oleh Zhong Xiuping, Tropical Life, dan juga dikatakan kemuncak seni moden Malaysia berlaku pada tahun 1952 apabila tertubuhnya Valencia Art Group oleh Peter Harris, dan sama dia adalah sekumpulan pelukis yang Syahmat Jamal, Chong Lai Tong, Ate Muhyiddin, Joliko, Yeo Jin Leng, dan mereka ni semua mewarnakan seni moden Malaysia selepas merdeka. So kita akan bincang tentang Syahmat Jamal dan sebagai beberapa pelukis moden Malaysia dalam video yang ketiga. So stay with me with the second part and third part. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 8, part 2. So we're going to discuss the postmodernism artist, postmodernist artist by the name of Jean-Michel Basquiat. So Jean-Michel Basquiat was born in Brooklyn in 1960 and died 28 years after that. Okay, he died at a young age. Okay, in New York, 1988. The father is Haiti and Puerto Rico. It's half Puerto Rico and half Haiti. Okay, so a lot as in his whole life, he has made like he has drawn 1,500 drawings. Okay, and he produced more or less like not less than 600 paintings. Okay, he was a black artist, and so he painted in a way that recognized and popularized in the way that people would recognize and people would popularize the black heritage in art. Okay, so exploration of this subject matter is exploration of himself and how he represent to what he is representing. So kita bercakap tentang orang pelukis Jean-Michel Basquiat. Lahir 1960 di Brooklyn dan meninggal dunia tahun 88, mati usia muda di New York. Okay, dia dikatakan telah menghasilkan lebih kurang 1,500 lukisan dan 600 catatan sepanjang hidupnya. Pelukis muda tapi popular dengan begitu cepat. Sebagai pelukis berkulit hitam, dia katakan dia melukis dengan cara sebagaimana orang dapat mempopularkan dan mengenali peninggalan orang kulit hitam. Exploration of systematic dia punya eksplorasi subject matter ialah eksplorasi dirinya sendiri dan macam mana dia menggunakannya untuk mewakilkan dirinya. Pada pameran tahun 1982 di Amerika, karyanya habis terjual. Dan salah satu karyanya kemudiannya pada tahun 2017, salah satu karyanya dalam siri Skull telah dibeli kemudiannya oleh seorang kolektor daripada Jepun dengan harga 110 juta. So in the exhibition in 1982, the experience sold out. And later on in 2017, one of the series untitled Skull so diterjual pula dalam tahun 2017 110 juta oleh seorang kolektor daripada Jepun. Basquiat adalah seorang pemuzik, pelukis grafiti dan juga satu orang yang dipanggil satu orang yang melukis banyak grafiti. Grafitinya menggunakan nama samaran SAMO, atau setengah pengkaji mengatakan SAMO tu singkatan daripada same old shit, najis yang sama, SAMO. Then he died overdose of heroin, 20 years old. Okay, so he worked with graffiti in so many ways, and sometimes his painting also is like a combination of words, graffiti, stick figure of man and animal, symbol, and it's a jumble up of so many things. So the idea is the idea of postmodernism, that you will not be able to focus on one focal point. You'll have to look everywhere to understand the painting. As an artwork of postmodernism, Basquiat purposely driven us away from the focal point, especially the painting on the screen, the top painting on the screen. It is a mixed media of acrylic, oil painting stick, and silk screen on canvas. An array of symbols, graffiti of stick man, and words to be comprehended at once. So the scholar says he presented a vision of fragmented self. in search of an organizing principle. Can one transform self and heritage into something new and named? Jadi katakan dalam karya postmodernism, dalam skrin kalau kita tengok di bahagian atas tu, dia memang sengaja menolak focal point. Itu memang falsafah postmodernism yang mana kita tak boleh baca makna secara direct. So makna dikatakan ditaburkan, bertaburan. Painting yang atas tu bernama Untitled, sama 84. Media campuran, oil painting stick, dan juga akrilik, dan juga disutrasaringkan di atas canvas. Jadi kita lihat itu graffiti, orang lidi dan juga segala simbol dan perkataan digabungkan kali harung, supaya dapat tak kita membacanya semua sekali dalam satu masa. Dia telah mempersembahkan satu vision, diri yang berpecah-pecah dalam mencari penyatuan diri. Bolehkah, dengan tanya, boleh tak kita menyatukan diri dan juga peninggalan atau heritage kita untuk membina satu yang baru dan ternama. The painting at the bottom is called Untitled Skull. Dia siri skull ni bukan yang ni. Ada satu painting yang lain yang dijual 110 million. One of the painting in this series. It's not this painting. The painting at the bottom is called Untitled, but is popular with the title Skull, tengkorak. It is a skull, but with eyes and lots of detailing within the brain area. Nama dia tengkorak, tapi ada mata dan juga di bahagian otak tu banyaklah detailing. It is said that the painting refer to the Basquiat long hospitalized when he was 7 years old, and he was hit by a car, and his mom used to buy an anatomy book, so that he can pass away his time reading the book. So and also some scholars say that this the skull actually a symbol of the exploitation of the black. In so many ways and in so many in so many events of history in America. They were killed, they were enslaved, and they were being tortured throughout history. Okay. So catatan yang bawah tu dipanggil skull, tanpa tajuk ataupun tengkorak, skull 1981. Siri daripada karya, bukan karya ni, siri daripada karya ni telah dibeli oleh kolektor daripada Jepun pada tahun 2017 harga $110 juta. Walaupun dia tengkorak, tapi matanya ada, dan di bahagian otak tu banyaklah detailingnya. Jadi dikatakan ini menunjuk pada waktu dia dilanggar kereta, dia duduk kat hospital, dan maknya bagi buku tentang anatomi, dia lihat tu. Tetapi ada juga ada sejarah mengatakan tengkorak hitamlah simbol penyiksaan orang berkulit hitam sepanjang sejarah Amerika, bagaimana mereka diperhambakan dan dieksploitasi sepanjang zaman. So that's all for the second slide, for the second video. So in the third video we'll talk about Syed Ahmad Jamal as the father of modern Malaysian art. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye for now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera. This is lecture number 8, part 3. ATH 435. We are now discussing the work of the father of Malaysian modern art, that is Syed Ahmad Jamal, the late Syed Ahmad Jamal, arwah Syed Ahmad Jamal. Once he was the director of the National Art Gallery from 1983 to 1991. Awarded the Sri Manegara in visual art in 1995. Awarded doctorship in 2005 and honorary doctorate from University Pendidikan UPSI in 2008. Hari ini kita nak bincangkan satu orang pelukis yang digelar Bapa Catatan Moden Malaysia, Allahyarham Syed Ahmad Jamal, atau Datuk Syed Ahmad Jamal. Dia ni pernah menjadi pengarah Balai Seni Negara bangunan lama 1983 sampai 1983 hingga 1991. Digunakan gelaran Seniman Negara dan bahagian seni visual dan tahun 1995. Diberi gelaran Datuk pada 2005 dan juga Doktor Kehormat daripada UPSI tahun 2008. He was one of the important members of the Wednesday Art Group in Kuala Lumpur, an important movement before the establishment of the Balai Seni Negara. On the screen now is at the top is the painting by Syama Jamal called Bait, ataupun in Malay is called Umpan. Syama Jamal adalah salah satu pelukis yang utama dalam Wednesday Art Group, yang mana ditubuhkan di Kuala Lumpur sebelum merdeka dan juga melalui zaman kemerdekaan. Satu gerakan sangat penting sebelum tertubuhnya Balai Seni Negara. Di skrin sekarang di bahagian atas ada tengok karya Syama Jamal yang bernama Umpan atau Bait. So Syama Jamal has introduced the new idiom and medium of painting after he came back from UK in the 50s. Syama Jamal dah beri bahan dan juga idea baru dalam catatan lepas dia pulang ke UK tahun 50-an. He is considered a strong propagator of abstract expressionism, abstract expressionism style of painting in Malaysia. For example, the work Bait atau Umpan tadi, the strong abstraction of spontaneous and unnaturalistic colour scheme, and even the spirit of merdeka of that time. Jadi semangat merdeka ketika tu disemarakkan lagi dengan gaya abstract expressionism, warna yang spontan, warna yang berani dan warna yang ekspresif. At the bottom is another good example of abstract expressionist style of painting shown here. The bottom one is called entitled Harapan, 1962. In this painting, Jamal shows great energy of brushstroke and the spontaneity, mark an important landmark in Malaysian modern art. So as a conclusion, Jamal is the propagator of the abstract painting, especially abstract expressionism in Malaysia. So his contribution in many ways could be considered as the most important figure in modern Malaysian art. So study all your notes for the test. You're going to have a 60% test for my lecture, from lecture 1 to lecture 8 again. Then you'll be having classes with Encik Radin. Then he will conduct the class on history of design. Then he'll give you another test of 40%, okay? So all the best to you. So I'm sorry of my shortcomings, and I wish you all the best in your future undertakings, and make sure you study the notes, and I pray to Allah that Allah will always help you, okay? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.